It's time, baby.
Oh yeah. Watch that booty go.
Now, whatever your name is, get ready for the big surprise.
It's turbo time.
Watch that booty go.
You hear me, right? Conmen, thieves, degenerates, lowlifes, thugs, criminals!
It's the Feel-Man. Yeah. Watch that booty go. Hope you like that halo. Oh yeah. Watch that booty go.
What's up, grinders? It's Monday night. What's up, everybody? How you doing? Sorry for the delay. I had some stuff going on, and I was trying to get my thing set up. So sorry for the delay. I know we don't like waiting, but man, oh man, I had to make sure I got my thing set up, and I had some things going on, and I had to run down here, start up the computer, and that's why I was in the chat, but didn't start up the computer yet to start the show. So I appreciate everybody hanging in there, grinders. Hitting up those emojis, those VIP grinders. Everybody jumping in there. Compost, how you doing? Nikki, Edgar, Social, what's up? Tex-Mex, how you doing? Hope everybody's doing well. Buck Roger, always here. How you doing, man? Yeah, and I finished a couple of games I was telling you guys about. But we have a lot of stuff to talk about, and there's a lot of things going on. There's going to be a lot of grinding. Pause. There's going to be a lot of craziness going on. There's going to be a lot of soundboards. There's going to be a lot of Phil Ness. And it's going to be a wild show because I got my margarita here, and I'm ready to go because I got a lot to talk about. If you didn't hear me earlier on Teams today, I could have went off on the deep end. What's up? Yo, what's up, 4-Star General? Thank you for the donuts. Yeah. So with that, I do want to welcome back the co-host, Mr. Frog's Dope Gaming. He is back from his frogcation. And I'm glad he's back, man. We're gonna keep it old school tonight, man. We're just gonna be Frog and I rocking. Link might jump in. But man, we're going in tonight. So hopefully everybody's doing well. There he is. What's up, Frogs? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing pretty good, man. Just had a pretty amazing trip, I'll say, and had a great time in Houston, Texas. I will say, where my sister-in-law lives, is Pearland. It's really nice, not super diverse, but really nice. Felt safe there, but man, I'm happy to be back, man. There's a lot to talk about.
I know, man. You left during a crazy week.
Whoo, man, did I ever? I tell you what.
Yeah.
Man, there was so much stuff going on. I was just listening to it. I was like, yo, this is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Just crazy. But what I will say is, I'm happy to be back. I'm genuinely happy to be back. So
that's good, man.
I'm ready to get these
Welcome
topics
back. And you
going.
came back Call of Duty week, baby.
Yep.
Call of Duty week.
That's
so I got my physical pre-ordered because I traded in my old one. So now I got the other one ready.
Nice.
So because I said I'm getting both Call of Duty and Battlefield, so I'm all hyped for that.
Well, what's funny is I was gone for almost 2 weeks, and I came back, and then when I got back, I immediately, because I hadn't played it yet, my Metroid have my Metroids here. I got a controller for my Switch because I never had one, and I'm playing it. I'm really enjoying the game. I will say, graphically it's coming from like this generation with PS5 and these current I would definitely say this game, for what it is, it looks good. But I'm like, this game is wow. Like if it wasn't for the 60 frames, this game doesn't look. For Switch games, it looked good, but compared to just what I'm playing now, it doesn't look good. So I've been playing, and I don't want to really harp on this look because it's a fun game.
Sure.
But I've been playing Metroid Dread. Been back on my PlayStation 5. I've been dabbling in some stuff here and there, like some Doom Eternal, because I'm trying to beat the PS5 version of those games.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, playing Judgment PS5 version. Getting ready for Call of Duty, getting ready for Battlefield, and of course, Halo and Forza. So
they're saying that campaign is pretty lit with Call of Duty, man. That Call of Duty campaign so far. So I heard somebody on Twitter say it's pretty lit.
Oh, there's the Grindhouse already.
Oh, gee, Phil's starting early tonight, man. He's trying to sell that.
Early tonight,
dude,
man.
Grindhouse, get him.
I'll give you I'll have a conversation. I guess we can have a conversation because we got to bring up Game Pass. I tried to renew my Xbox Live, and I'll tell you what kind of happened in that situation. It was pretty bad. I had a bad experience, and had a bad experience when I came home because I got onto my Xbox, and my Xbox wouldn't let me play any of my games, and it wouldn't let me log online. Apparently, it said my account was inactive. I fixed it and figured out what the problem was, but I thought because I re-upped to Xbox Live, they closed my account. But it's a whole story with Xbox. I tell you, man. One thing I can say is that user interface is so, I don't get on my Switch to go on the user interface. I just get on there to play games. But that Xbox One user interface, which is the Xbox One X, Series S, Series X, it is dog shit.
Oh.
It is the worst interface I've ever had in a it is straight dog shit. Like Microsoft, I don't know what they're thinking about this. I still think it's one of the worst interfaces for a home console. It's really dog shit.
Yeah, they finally added a 4K update to it. But what's interesting is I noticed this when I compared them side by side on this channel. I was saying, like, when that Xbox One, the Series X, had that 1080p dashboard, it was very evident because of the graphical interface and UI that they have. It warrants a sharper image because it's all big squares and blocks and images that you would want a 4K dashboard. And the fact that they didn't have one, finally they're adding it to the pre-alpha son's former roommate edition, whatever the hell you're in, whatever ring you're in. So they added it. So finally you get the 4K update. But I remember people saying it's not a big deal. Now it's a big deal. But yeah, that interface is definitely the clicking and the boxes. It's not, it's not very intuitive. And it's very,
not good at
I
all.
do like to have all the shortcuts in the guide. But the dash is not good. Like the sliding thing is pretty awesome. You have access to everything, games and everything. But it's the dashboard that you're just like, ugh, the home screen. You're just like, ugh. You don't want to be bothered with that.
I can tell you, man, that dashboard is, and I've said this ever since the Xbox One came out. And for all those who don't know me, I got an Xbox One day one and a PS4 day one. So I had both of them day one, because I was like, I don't know who I'm going with this generation, because the generation before that, I was 360 for the beginning, and like almost halfway through, I switched to PlayStation 3 because of Red Ring of Death. I couldn't take it anymore. And then I said, well, I had about, I was kind of on both sides. I was like, well, Sony had some great games. Microsoft had some. And then when I went to that PS4 generation, I was like, okay, who am I going to primarily play with? I thought it was going to be Xbox, and it ended up being PlayStation. And I was like, damn. And it's continued on. So, but I can tell you that user interface is dog shit.
Yep, they need to fix it. And you know what? They haven't done a lot to the user interface like they used to have big spring updates, big fall updates, and big changes. They really haven't done that much to it. They've just been adding little things in there, especially since they have not evolved it from the launch of the console. It's not like it's a brand new dashboard like the PlayStation did, and they're evolving a brand new dashboard. They're evolving a dashboard that's been around for the last 8 years, like 5 years. Like, they keep changing it. But anyway, we're gonna get to the topics because we got so much stuff to talk about. We can go right to the grinds board here. But I want to shout out to all the VIP grinders. Oh, go back and when we got Eddie T, David Howe, Noriko, No Cap Podcast, Brian M, Tex Mex, Morty, who's in the chat right now. We got True Witty, we got 4-Star General in the chat right now. Data War, please use your emojis, VIP grinders. Frog, you missed something on the way out. I think you saw that we added the Xbox refrigerator in the back room that Phil's guarding in the back of the room.
I did see that.
But we did add Craig 2.0 with Bootleg Joel. He's trying to peek in now, seeing what's going on with Herman Holston is doing his splits. So Bootleg Joel and now has now Craig 2.0 with the Amish beard going on. And Booster's still back there. Nobody likes your Booster. You stay back there. I did find a Turbo Man in Walmart. I'm gonna buy.
Yeah, I got a Turbo Man pre-ordered. She's coming in the mail soon from Amazon because Walmart had some. So I do have a Turbo Man.
I'm gonna get the Turbo Man, dude. I'm getting it. And and then I asked about Booster. So I was like, Walmart. I was like, wait a second, this Turbo Man, where's Booster? And they said, quote from the line, nobody wants Booster. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot. There's no Booster, man. There's only Turbo Mans. They're not even selling Booster because nobody wants Booster. So a bunch of boosters in the chat. Let's do some boosters. Shout out, Paul went out for Booster. Here you go, Booster. You're not even being sold at Walmart. That's how bad you are. It's all about Turbo Man, and it's Turbo time. Yeah.
Nobody wants Booster.
I know you sent me the video to watch. I was started watching it. And then it's like,
you're my number one customer.
I was sitting there and I said, you know what, man? I said,
it's Turbo time.
I said, this is so awesome.
There we go. We got him in the chat.
So awesome.
We got Craig, Bootleg Craig. We got Bootleg Joel's. We got Craig 2.0 with the Fu Manchu. But shout out to all the VIP grinders. Thank you so much for the support for the Grindhouse. And I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. Thank you again. And stay chilling in the VIP lounge. Herman Holtz got you covered with his PlayStation 5 splits. And again, no boosters, no Bootleg Joels, and no Phil Ness allowed in this club. So thank you again, guys. we are going to go right to the Grindsboard because we got some stuff to talk about. Let me make sure I have the right sounds going on so we don't have any overlay. And let's see this, and I got all these features here. Okay, here we go. We're going to the Grindsboard. All right. Dude, I want to say, somebody's asking if I've been searching everywhere for that bootleg friggin' Joel, man. He is not, I see Master Chief, I see the, an Arbiter, I see some, a bunch of, Chief stuff, but I do not see bootleg Joel, man. I am looking for that bootleg, man. I want just the pilot, and, if I find it, man, I think I might do a giveaway of bootleg Joel. Oh man, a bootleg Joel, dude. Yeah, I'm looking for him. Trust me, I'm looking for bootleg. I see everybody wants those Xbox fridges. Yeah, they were hard to find. I guess they were only sold exclusively at Target. Thanks, JCat. Yeah, hit that like button, everybody. But yeah, I guess they're only sold at Target. That was pretty much of a disaster, I guess, for the ordering of the refrigerators. But not even refrigerators. They're like electro fridges, whatever the hell they are. Like some friggin' oh my god, I played the clip last time.
Number one customer.
Oh, what's up? Thank you, 4-star general, $5. He says, Donuts, Craig, and Bootleg Joel. Hit that like button. Holy crap. Yes. Donuts, Craig, and Bootleg Joel, and Xbox refrigerators, please. That's what it's all about nowadays, man. It's all about the key terms. Velocity architecture, Bootleg Joel's, Halo, the not at launch edition, all the stuff. It's not even about a friggin' game anymore. It's all about the other bullshit. What Phil's wearing. What's his cologne? What does he smell like? What does booty smell like? Oh my goodness, the booty.
We know what booty smells like.
Dude.
Booty smells like booty.
Yeah, okay. Here we go. This is what you come here for. This is the content you come here for. He wakes up in the morning. Remember, Frog, I did this show last week where if booty was found, like we talked about booty, even though booty's not on here.
Oh yeah.
But he wakes up. He's hands off booty. He don't touch anything. He just gets stuff out of their way. He buys them more time. He goes to his he goes to his he goes to his bathroom and he gets this bottle of cologne and it has two booty cheeks, has two ass cheeks on it, and he sprays himself. It's his booty fragrance. And then he goes out with fucking booty fragrance and he goes clapping over at 343 and they're like, "We need more time, booty." He goes, "Hold on." And he goes over to Phil Spence and he goes clapping in Phil Spence's office, and Phil's like, "Booty, stop that clapping in front of my office." He goes, 343 needs more time. I put on the booty fragrance. Two ass cheeks and a perfume bottle. So anyway, speaking of about booties, we do have a name of Booty on here, but it's not related to the Booty, Mr. Booty himself. But the first topic we have on here, and we're gonna fly through the first few because we got the nitty gritty, as I always say, of the last few. We got some shit to talk about. But Guardians of the Galaxy is getting really well received. A lot of people, so far the Metacritic thing wasn't like this death loop type rating on this, but it was like, like 80s and stuff like that. But like the seems like the consumers are very excited with what Guardians of the Galaxy is and how it's performing. I did not get it yet. And I'm telling you right this, you hear this right here, Grinders, in another week, they're doing the buy two, get one for free at Target. They do it every year.
Oh, that's when you buy them.
That's when I'm going to get Far Cry because I want the Far Cry Gold Edition. Never go full Ubisoft. And I learned my lesson last year when I bought that ass Creed. I was happy that I only paid whatever for that ass Creed because I was done with that Viking bootleg shit. And then I'm probably gonna get Guardians of the Galaxy, but like, because I'm just trying to finish up stuff. I finally beat Days Gone. I just got into it. I was just like, you know what? My son was playing something else, and I got booted off, and I was like, you know what? Let me just play this game and finish it. I finished the end of that story, dude. That was a long ass game, but man, I thought I was at the end, and it was like another 4 hours, to the game.
Yes.
It was, but I tell you, it was good. And this is what I'm gonna say. No spoilers, but this is what I'm just gonna say about this.
Ending.
Yeah, this is what I'm gonna say. What they do, and I noticed this in a lot of the Sony games. What they do, and I respect this. This is what I want to say. Right? They don't make it very cliche. They don't make it very like you find, you get the girl, you run away, like, very simple. Like there is a lot of emotion and depth akin to like almost a movie, like a very a movie. Like there's different tug and pull. And I don't want to drop spoilers and stuff like that because I know people might haven't played it yet. But the thing is that they could have easily wrapped it up, that you find the goal that you're finding. You do what you got to do, and you run away, and it's all done. End of story, happy. But it doesn't do that. There's a lot of tug and pull of, like, haven't seen people, the environment that's going on. Sort of like, I haven't seen you in so long, but, dude, I still, I still have emotions, but things like that, And it really adds more depth to the relationships, that it makes you feel, I feel mature as a gamer. I'm like, oh, they're taking a more mature tone to this. They're not just being cliche and just kind of wrapping it up like the game's over, guys. Wrap it up 2 hours.
Number one customer.
They stretch it out. Yo, what's up, JK Gamer UK? He says, check your Twitter DM, dude. Found Bootleg Joel. Holy crap. Let me see. I'm going to go find it now. But I'm just saying, I really do like, holy crap. He found it on eBay. Holy shit. That's a big price to pay for a bootleg. Holy shit. Yo, he's showing me some Bootleg Joel right here. Here he is. Here's Bootleg. We found him. Oh my goodness. He is in the raw right now. Hold on. I'm going to show Bootleg Joel. Everybody wants to see. Derailing my my soliloquy about the friggin' Days Gone. But that's all right. Bootleg Joel takes precedence. Bootleg Joel's in the chat, please, because Bootleg Joel takes precedence when we talk about Bootleg Joel. Here he is. In all his glory, 26. What is those? Liras, British pounds, $26.43 for Mr. Bootleg Joel. Oh, there he is in all his gloriness. Oh, here's a side profile bootleg. Let's see. Let's get a closer. Oh my goodness, there he is. Look at that face. Say my name, Chief. What's my name? Save us. Save us! What's my name, Chief? Save us! Save us! I can't say your name! Say it! Just say it! Say it! I come with DLC! Say my name! There he is. He got special jerk-off hands that we like to see. Nice big round grasping hands he has right there to hold the bulldog. Pause. Oh, shit. And then there he is, Bootleg Joel. And look, see? He don't have a name. But I'm going to tell you this. I hope...
Wait, so you did find Bootleg Joel?
He did find them on eBay.
Oh,
but
shit.
I just feel sad for the children that get this in their stocking. They get bootleg. Like, who wants this character? Like, who wants this guy? He's not Halsey. He's not the Arbiter. He's not the Flood. He's just Bootleg Joel. Like, who's like, I want the pilot, please. Like, he is the booster of the Halo Infinite. Nobody wants this.
Which is pretty sad.
His name is Bootleg. He doesn't have a name. Who buys a toy that doesn't have a name? He's half the size of a Lego. But who? And he comes with game add-ons. Oh, and he comes with that. He comes with the trash ass grass too. Like, he's like, hey, you see those textures? I come with that grass. That Halo grass that we drew in at like 5 polygons.
I tell you, I've been having a
bug put a bit in.
I needed that time kind of away from just myself and my wife. Helping my sister-in-law pack house. But what I can tell you is, leaving and then coming back and just listening to some people, I realize there's some psychotic people in this gaming space.
Oh, don't even start with that. That's a whole
man. I was just listening to things, listening to different shows when I was unpacking, helping unpack the house. I'm listening to these YouTube spaces. Not YouTube, Twitter spaces. I'm like, yo, there's some crazy ass people out there.
There is. There is some crazy ass people, but there he is. Thank you, J Gamer UK, for finding Bootleg Joel on eBay. That's pretty damn expensive though for Bootleg.
How much is he?
He's 26. What is that? British pounds? He's 26 British pounds.
Ah,
So he's like what, like $12? He's like $15? I don't know the conversions. He's something.
He's about 30 something for us. That'd
Oh,
be
shit.
I
Oh,
think
damn.
he'd probably be about 30 for us. If I'm not
He's
mistaken.
ultra rare Bootleg, but he has the face. So like, I'm most definitely gonna put some Bootleg Joels in the chat here. Frog's gonna put a bid in for him. There he is. There's a close up. Show him a close up.
I gotta put that bid in for him.
Yeah, I'll put the bid in for him. A bid, I just feel I'll just bid to take him off the market so no kids are crying during Christmas time. That's all I would do. Take it off the market. I don't know, man. Mom, Dad, I want the pilot from Halo Infinite. I'm like, who? He doesn't have a name.
They're like, Bootleg.
Bootleg.
Like, oh.
Dude, he should just be Bootleg Joel. Like, they should just name a Bootleg Joel. Like, from Last of Us. Yes, this is the Bootleg Last of Us. There it is. Instead of Ellie, we got Master Chief, and instead of Joel, we got Bootleg Joel.
Bootleg Joel.
Anyway, but there he is. He derailed the show. But anyway, I finished Days Gone. $35, Gadget says, with the conversion. They could keep that trash.
Oh, $35. Oh, no.
You hear me, right? Con men, thieves, degenerates, lowlifes, thugs, criminals.
Yeah, they can
keep $35 for Bootleg. Trash. He comes with game add-ons too. He probably comes with some horseshit XP. What the hell? Well, whatever. Anyway, talking about boosters. Actually, the thing about Guardians of the Galaxy is that it got boosted. It got boosted. They put only a 1080p 30 frames per second mode on the Series S.
Huh.
Yeah, there is no 60 frames per second mode on the Series S. Yeah, and no quality of performance settings. It's one setting, set it and forget it. And there it is, 1080p. Booster got boosted. So, I don't know, man. I've been finding them a lot of places. The Series S were all around there, man. But I don't know. We're a year in, and it's already getting kind of dropped. Like, I tell you, that Series S, man, that is, like, you are teeter-tottering your future. Like, and that's the problem with this whole thing. It's like, you shouldn't go into buying a console being on the borderline of like, is it going to get the stuff that I need? Like, you should have some guarantees, right? And it seems like a lot of these devs are just doing whatever they want with the Series S, and Microsoft doesn't have a standard of like what they demand, what they're demanding. Like, hey, our console, and like Nintendo had this with the seal of quality. Like, Microsoft should have some quality control and some sort of, stipulate, like, you got to have a high frame rate mode on the Series S. You got to have.
It should have been like, this is a standard.
You need to have this. Yeah. Exactly. Like, they're just kind of making these devs do whatever they want, even though Microsoft was the one out there flexing, talking about Series X power, and the Series S is the performance one, and the 1080p machine. Meanwhile, some of these games are not even at 1080p or 1440p for that site. And it's just like, they should have some sort of set quality, because it's like a free-for-all, man. It is like a friggin' free-for-all by getting this console, not knowing where it is. Is it last gen? And just like you were saying, Frog, like the One X outperform, like on the Halo. Remember you were saying, like with Halo,
right?
The One X is doing better than the Series X, right? The Series S, the Series S.
And I don't understand why that console exists to a certain extent. When they could have took whatever, they could have basically said, okay, we got a 12 teraflop console, let's give them a 6 teraflop console at half that price or whatever. But they give you a freaking 4 teraflop console, and I'm like, yo, how do you go backwards? How do you go backwards?
Yeah, but it's faster processes and stuff, that. And I don't get, like, it just seems like a free for all,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what Microsoft's thought process really is at this point. I'm at the point, and the driving force. I'm trying to put a stake in the ground and say, as much as there are games that I want to play, I still to this point see no reason to invest in a Series X or S. And the sad thing about that is, the only way I had said this, like the only way I would get one of those, get an X, is if they made a Halo edition, which I can't get my hands on. That's the only way I would actually get one and play on it.
Dude, goes to New Orleans with the $2, man. He goes instead of getting hit with a golf club, Bootleg Joel gets run over by a warthog.
Oh my god.
He was running at him. Oh man.
What's up, Link?
Jesus. Yo, what's up, Link? How you doing, man?
You're
Yo,
my number one customer.
what's up, King Thrash? He goes, read my comment because what? Oh shit, he's putting me. Oh man, I gotta read it, man. I gotta read it. He goes, because I'm the king. All right, he says, King Thrash is the best gamer in the solar system.
Number one customer.
Thank you, King, for your wisdom and guidance.
You have me right. Con men, thieves, degenerates, lowlifes, thugs, criminal. You're my number one customer.
Bob's got news for you. You are mine now. You belong to me.
What's up, Thrash? Thank you, man. Yep. Thrash just triggered my friggin' Arnold board right there. Shout out to Thrash, man. Awesome stuff. Go watch Thrash and definitely go watch his documentary. I was watching that, man. It was pretty in-depth with the last thing he just did one. Yeah, I was listening to it. But shout out to Thrash. Thanks, Thrash, man. Yo, what's up, Garuda? How you doing? And I wanted to say something too. I saw the tools, man. The tool man. Listen, man. I'm not shaming anybody for buying the Series S. What I'm saying is that it's sad that Microsoft is not ensuring that S does not get forgotten about, and it has a certain level of expectation with the developers, because it seems kind of like it's like a random roll of the dice. It's like, here's the Series X and here's the PS5, and then it's like, and then here's the Series S with like whatever edition. Oh, it runs like it runs it at 700p at 120 frames, and it's just like, it just seems like they need to have some stuff there, you know?
No, it's Microsoft's fault for providing the developers with this poor, putrid piece of hardware.
Well, they put the devs in that position. You're right, Link. You're right.
Yeah, they put them in that position with that shitty ass box. And you know what I mean? And I mean, when you got games running better on the Pro than a so-called next gen Xbox, you got some serious issues.
Yeah, I agree. And that's
Totally.
the thing. Like so we'll go on to the next topic with that one. But it was interesting that was kind of interesting where that it didn't get the higher frame rate. It just got the like just to get by kind of 1080p 30 frames on that one with no performance or quality modes at all on the Series S, and it just seems kind of weird. The second thing, and this is gonna be a quick one, but there's gonna be a little rant on this thing. The Sony State of Booty. That state of play, that was a waste of time. I don't know why they did it. I don't know why they just didn't do a tweet. Because there were some things in there like that whole that Death's Door coming to PlayStation. That was interesting.
Didn't I tell you that was coming to PlayStation?
You said it was, Frog. You said never. If Frog goes on rants, get Frog your rants.
These are timed exclusive,
Yeah, get Frog's rants, and here it goes.
I'm
gonna get the sirens from.
Anything Microsoft says is exclusive on their console, it's coming to PlayStation, especially
there
if
he goes.
I hate that shit with a passion, mostly because they always say this exclusive stuff, and they put it in. It's not like a Final Fantasy VII where they're like, yeah, exclusive to PlayStation for 1 year, and then it comes to PS5. And my whole thing is like, you see games, you're like, yeah, this is you can tell Death's Door is going to come to PlayStation. And what was sad about it, and you know what's so sad about it is, and I think this might happen, Death's Door didn't launch in Game Pass. It was a game that got really good reviews. I don't know how many people bought it, but I have a feeling when this game comes out and it's on PlayStation, Microsoft's going to try to cut a deal where they can throw it in Game Pass. I had this feeling they're going to do that. And from what I hear, it's such a good game. And I was like, I'm going to buy it. I remember saying, I'm going to buy this. But I was like, wait, let me see if Microsoft, and I went and looked at the publisher and developer. I was like, oh, this is coming to PlayStation. And it did. Yep. So it's just like anything you see that isn't in Game Pass, that's good, that's going to be on Microsoft's console, just wait. Same with the Switch. Just wait. Hades, it's coming. My whole thing is like, it's so hard to convince somebody to really buy into the Xbox ecosystem if they're not already into it. I think the people that are already into it, fine. if you're not into that ecosystem, there's no reason to jump into it at all. At all.
Yep.
I just don't see a reason to tell
You
people.
don't like that,
you know,
man.
here's another thing. Because people use backward compatibility. That doesn't matter. They're not doing any more Xbox 360 games. They're not. So yeah, you can play your Xbox One games, but you can do the same thing if you have a PS5 with your PS4 games. So backward compatibility is not a factor. It's not a factor. You know?
Yeah.
Because whatever is backward compatible from the 360 and the OG X1, they're not adding any more games.
Buck said you're so salty over losing the Falconeer.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Look, let me just tell you. No, go ahead, Link. I'm sorry.
No, what I was saying is, they don't. I mean, if it's not an IP that they actually own, why wouldn't it go to PlayStation at some point?
Right.
I mean, it's you're just missing out on a lot of money over there if you don't put it on PlayStation.
Yeah, it was pretty short.
At some
they
point,
came over, like 3 months, right?
You're gonna sell more copies on the PlayStation than you're gonna sell on the Xbox.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that. I got that on the thing.
I mean, you know, so if you know that as a developer, it would make no sense not to put it over there at some point.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
But
like,
their deals don't last. These exclusive deals that Microsoft gets are like 6 months. They're not even. Sometimes they don't have. These deals that they're signing aren't even for a lengthy exclusivity period.
Right.
Yeah, like even they said, remember the rumor with the Stalker 2, everybody's talking about for next year, and that's only supposedly a 3-month exclusive. And same thing with the Medium. That was only like a few months too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's stuff.
Most of these
I wonder where Scorn is. I wonder where Scorn is. Where's that friggin' alien dick show, whatever the hell Phil Spencer showing? That alien Phil Ness that was pouring out of it. What's fucking going on? Pause. Oh shit.
I don't understand, man. Like, I don't think at this point, you know, my whole thing is I get so tired in a sense of talking about Xbox because there's no way obviously they're gonna win, but they still, even the good games they have coming out, they still for some reason or sense of purpose fuck them up. They always seem to fuck their shit up. It's like, oh, we got this coming out, and then it comes out and they fuck it up. How can you fuck up your own stuff? And it's kind of just shake your head and say, "Damn, it's so sad."
You know, the thing that I've been noticing too is that it's very what we're seeing, and this is more. I would definitely want to save it. I'm gonna save it for later because I wanted to just mention though that I'm just gonna say right now as a prelude to what we're gonna talk about later on is that I feel that this Game Pass stuff is like everything that Microsoft's doing with it is very random. Very random.
Yes.
Anyway, we'll talk about it later. So the next thing I had here before we get into the big stuff is the ray tracing on Xbox and PlayStation. There's the apparent thing we've seen in these face-offs about this ray tracing, and we've seen this with the latest one has been, what is it? The Death Runner is what is it? Runner? Oh.
Ghost Runner.
Ghost Runner. So like this whole thing of implementation of ray tracing on Xbox seems to be a performance hit or something where it just doesn't really run ray tracing very well, and Sony seems to be with the PlayStation running it pretty well and consistent, as you know, as Mark Cerny promised. You know what I mean? Like they built a gaming machine here. However, Microsoft talked ray tracing before anybody was breathing about big buzzwords as ray tracing, and they supposedly have hardware ray tracing, and everybody was finessing about the RDNA 2.1, Phil DNA 1.0. You know, all this bullshit about DNA and RDNAs and ray tracing. You know, to be honest, who really cares about ray tracing if it really dampens the performance? But if it could be implemented really well, which I got kind of spoiled on some ray tracing because I didn't care about it. But when I saw it in Spider-Man and ray trace performance mode, ray tracing performance, and Ratchet and Clank. Oh my god, dude, that was like that was like, yo, what ray tracing can do. Like, my god, like I was seeing reflections on the bullet casings, like when you zoom in for photo mode. And like it just adds another layer of effect because I love my photos. Shout out to everybody that liked all my photos from Returnal, which awesome that they added a photo mode. I said that from day one they should have had it.
Oh yes, should have had it. Yeah,
and you just appreciate the game so much more. And you know it's really and you know on the back end, it's really a great way to kind of socially market the game by getting people to share screenshots and just it's fun. Like it's just another element, just like trophies. And achievements add to games, like taking photos and sharing them on Twitter. you know, and what's incredible too, I don't know if it's just the community in general or the gamers, but for some reason I find that sharing the PS5 share, the PS share is so easy. Even I realized this with the PS4. When I would share screenshots on the PS4, like people would like it, retweet it. But meanwhile, the Xbox, it was just like nobody gave a shit about it. Like nobody even cared. And I know it was a cockamamie way of sharing photographs. You had to upload them to OneDrive and then transfer them from your phone and stuff. So not a lot of people did it, but the PlayStation was just so easy. And it seems like there's a better appreciation of the games that you're sharing on the PlayStation for some reason. You know, I guess it's the quality and it's the respect that they earn by putting great games on the system that people appreciate when you put in these different angles. I know Kenna pitches I've tons of traction. Like everybody likes it, and I love taking them. So, you know, I don't know. I just think that it's you know, with Ratchet though, the ray tracing. Do you notice this difference with the ray tracing? You've seen it too, right? Lincoln Frog, like you've seen it.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, Microsoft hasn't even put out a first party game. And the games they've announced so far, and the games they've announced so far have no ray tracing in gameplay. So,
yeah,
you'll have it in the Forza Vista mode, and you'll have it one day on Halo. They said one day is coming.
One day, yeah, it's on at launch.
Wow.
But PlayStation's first party is directly utilizing the hardware, and that's what you expect from your first party devs is to put the hardware to the test and showcase it. You don't expect that from third party, but there are third party developers that are using some of these features. And for some reason, when it comes to performance, most of the time the PlayStation 5 version is outclassing the Series X, and this Ghost Runner game is just another game where you have the 4K 60 mode with ray tracing running at almost lock 60, whereas the Xbox version dropping to 50, sometimes 40. And then even in the 120 FPS mode, the Xbox version drops all the way down to 90, whereas the PlayStation 5 version maintains a steady 120 FPS. So like Mark Cerny said, it's dangerous just to rely on teraflops. But that's because that's only one piece of the puzzle. And so, as you can see here, you can look at some numbers on a spreadsheet and assume that the Xbox is going to be outperforming the PlayStation. But clearly, there's more to it than just teraflops. And Microsoft if they're expecting third-party devs to fully utilize their hardware, then they're mistaken. But their first-party devs should be showing it off. And unfortunately, with a game like Halo, it doesn't appear that that's going to be the case.
Right. Yeah, Frog, do you see that too with the so this is what happened.
Yeah,
I'm showing the Digital Foundry video here where they show like this performance mode. I forget what his timestamp for it. But this ray tracing with the Xbox is just not up to par. And know what else we noticed this too? Even in Little Nightmares 2, they showed that there was better ray tracing with the shadows in the PlayStation version over the Xbox version.
The Xbox version had no ray tracing at all.
Yeah, and Little Nightmares 2. That's right. I knew there was a big dichotomy at that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was that, and then it just seems that, and you know, and I think again, it's the way it's built. Like the PS5 is built as a gaming machine. I am a sex machine. It's a gaming machine. It's built to run games. Xbox console, I think it is made to run games, but I do think that there are other Film Nest things. There's other things in there for other purposes of streaming and sharing and other things and windows in the background of all that other horseshit that goes on that I really don't think that it was optimized fully to just play games. Like it has other things, becoming a server blade and things like that I don't think it was fully optimized for this. Or we're seeing what a larger install base does is that developer mindshare goes towards the lead console, and that the lead console does that. You don't think so?
That's what I don't think that's what it is, because you look at a game like The Tourist, right? I mean, nobody's really playing that game. But look at what the developer said, that the faster GPU and the unified RAM system with instead of the split memory RAM, instead of the split RAM speeds, allowed them to run the game at 8K. So it's clear that what Mark Cerny said about the higher clocks on the GPU matters more so than a CU count. So a faster GPU, all of your RAM being able to utilize at full speed, being able to be utilized at full speed, that stuff matters. And so it's not just about the
It's
CU
not
count
optimization.
yeah, the console is not. There's bottlenecks even when we're not even talking about the IO when it comes to the SSD and all that. But look at the split RAM configuration. Look at the slower clock GPU with more CUs. Microsoft just had their decisions as far as how they decided to design this console are kind of holding it back.
Yeah.
So,
Frog, you thinking? What do you think?
I mean, I do have the Taurus. I've been playing it. It looks good. I played it on Xbox One, and I actually, I purchased it there, and I thought it was a cool game. And then when it came to PlayStation, I was like, damn, once again another game that I could just play it on the console. And I played it, and I honestly think that man, when it comes down to just pure gaming, I think that all BS aside, I think that I've always thought that from the Xbox One, they had a problem multitasking and doing, and they tried to do a lot of different things, and they could never do any one thing right or really great. And I think that PlayStation decided, I would say with the PS4 and PS5, hey, one thing we have to get right, no ifs, ands, or buts, is we have to say we have to get gaming right. And I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. I think that overall, and when it's said and done, that Microsoft, I don't know, they had the ability and the chance, and they chose not to, and the decision to rebuild their interface and do things different with the Xbox Series systems, and they kind of didn't. They kind of just said, we're just going to do the same thing. And I kind of wish they didn't do that. I kind of wish they had really chose to do something different, because anybody who's had an Xbox One and a PlayStation, they probably can tell you, like, that game system is, you can just tell that the PS4 just for some reason it just ran better.
And what's crazy about it is that the system, like, they hyped the technology in this system for so long.
They did.
This is where it's
world's
coming
most
back.
Powerful console,
yeah, twice, right? And we saw that the One X really didn't amount to all the hyperbole and best pixels and best this stuff that they talked about. Even the high fidelity VR never came to fruition. So they've been, and this is where I think why we talk about it so much is because it wasn't a few months before launch. It was 2 goddamn years of talking Project Scarlet. Oh, they're going to be the strongest console. They got high velocity architecture. We got the breakdown of this stuff, and Digital Foundry breaking it down and all this other stuff. And it's like we had project names. We didn't have project names for PlayStation. People thought the PlayStation was in trouble because Sony held on to that the PS5 release for so long, because Xbox didn't stop talking about it. Every single week it was, you don't believe the teraflops, the power, the real RDNA, the AMD partnership, Sue Kim and all these other people are friends with Phil, and Phil took them out to dinners and gave them donuts and all this other trash. It was just all over the place for over a year and a half. And then and during that time, they shut down the One X. Like, they're done with that. That friggin' sad story when they launched it with PUBG and a horror trash-ass texture.
Pretty sad.
And now they launched this one with nothing. Sad. And then on top of it, they talked about this so long that you think they were ready. People will tell you Sony wasn't ready for the PS5 launch. And meanwhile, the One X comes out without any games. And they still don't have anything that really takes advantage of it from their first party. I think the only game that's going to come out that even be close is going to be Forza 5. And again, we see Turn 10 or Playground Games, Forza saving Xbox again. But you want to know what? I'm going to tell you something, everybody. Remember the One X and the whole 1080p and 900p? Let me tell you a little story. When the Xbox One came out, there was only one game that hit 1080p on 60 frames, and Microsoft says it's the 1080p 60 frames per second console. and it was Forza 5. And that was it.
Hmm.
Forza was the one that demonstrated 1080p 60, that the console was capable of doing it. Third party never did it. It was always 900p. It was always 900p.
Yeah.
It was but the fact that Forza hit that mark made them able to make that claim that it's still a 1080p 60 frames per second console. And it was the only game that did it. But again, that Forza engine is very optimized and it works really well. And that's what happened. Same thing goes for the One X launch. 4K 60. Oh, this 4K 60, Forza was the only one that could do it. And it wasn't even native 4K, but it was approaching 4K 60. Well, I think it might have been native 4K. Might have been. Or it updated it. But Forza, again, was the only one that kind of made the claim.
Wait. What game? What game?
Forza was the one for the One X that actually did 4K 60.
Forza Horizon or
No,
Forza
Forza Motorsport.
Okay, Forza Motorsport.
Forza Horizon couldn't do. They made it. I think they made it 60, but they dropped the resolution down. I think they did that, but I just remember Forza Motorsport was the one that made them make the claim that this is a 4K 60, this is a 1080p 60. If I know the 1080p 60 definitely. I believe the One X also had the Forza launching with it that was able to do it. But again, Forza bails them out, and here we are now. After the One X, and now we have the Series X, and we have Forza Horizon now, a Forza game again. The only game that could really demonstrate somewhat of the capabilities of the machine. And, it's not coming from Halo. We could guarantee that, and we'll talk about that. But the ray tracing thing is really a weird-ass thing that's going on that I keep seeing more and more going on with the Series X, not able to do it. The One S, I think the Series S can do some ray tracing. They will turn it on or something, but no, I don't think it does. Does the Series S do ray tracing at all? In any of the games?
It does, on their website it's listed that it has DirectX ray tracing,
okay.
and it has ray trace it has ray tracing hardware. I can't remember the term. Anyway, it's supposed to have ray tracing hardware. Hardware accelerated ray tracing is built into the Series S as well as the Series X.
Yeah. And that's right. And yeah, see, I see in the chat. Sorry, I was looking at the other screen. But yeah, the chat was saying, Playground and the Forza devs, they're really legit. Yeah. They actually show the capabilities of the machine. And, it's unfortunate that the other first parties don't do that. And, Halo should have been a show. It should have been a showpiece. Halo has always been the game to move the console or move forward. And this is definitely a scale back. And, we'll talk about that. And speaking about Halo, so I'm going to go off on another rant here about this thing because I got a problemo with this.
Uh-oh.
Because they are setting themselves up for ultimate trolling. All right, so let's share this here. So, as we know, our good friend Tony, a guy from New York, he was hired by Tree for Tree, he calls him, and he was hired to draw the hairs on Craig after this bald ass showed up last year. And they said, Tony, get in the corner and start drawing the hairs on Craig. I want these hairs. I want all hairs. I want them looking like the friggin' Bee Gees. And then I did the image last week that, Tony was supposed to make him looking like the friggin' Bee Gees. And, so far, Tony's been doing a good job. But I'm going to tell you a problem here. If you remember, they showed that CGI image of the Brute. And then they showed an in-game of last year of the Brute, right? And then the dev came out actually and just shot it down going, wait, hey, that's a CGI. That's a not even a render. That's a CGI of this, of that Brute, of that video. That's not the same. That's not in game. Stay tuned. Well, then they come out with this. So here's the shot of Craig, and then they show new Craig 2.0. All right. And this is a high-res render of the game. And I'm just like, oh no, don't do this. Are you seriously doing this? And then Xbox tweeted it out going how it started and how it's going. And I'm like, are you that stupid to set up this expectation here, right here, when we already seen the gameplay and we got his ass right here. VIP Grinders, there he is. There he is in the chat. That's what he looks like in game getting a friggin' elbow. You show this, and you are trying to tell people that he got a glow up. I see all the influencers going, Craig is improved. He's better now. It hasn't improved. Dude, they added a mohawk on his ass and gave him a friggin' Fu Manchu. I know Tony's respected, but what are you doing? And what are you doing?
Did you see what your boy Alex Battaglia said from Digital Foundry?
I got that one. I got that. So we're gonna take this to the grinds board because we got some shit to talk about here. So we're going to the grinds board. Where the hell's my grinds board sound clips? We're going to the grinds board. Oh yeah, here we go. Grind. I told you it's gonna be a wild one. We're going to the grinds table. Here we go. Where is my grinds table intro? Yes, we're gonna get the sirens. I'm making sure it hits. We're going to the grinds table. We got some big topics to talk about here, and I need another drink. So here we go. Oh yeah. All right. Yeah. These are the big ones. We got to talk about this. So yeah. So the first thing, my issue with this whole thing was that Microsoft, Xbox themselves set themselves up when we already seen the gameplay. All right. We already got the clip. You have it right here in the chat. We seen it that he grew a little bit of hair on the head, and this is what they did to Craig, right?
Oh, he did put pubic hair in his head.
They did. Tony, man, that's his job.
Right. They didn't improve the model. They didn't improve the detail.
No, they didn't. Nope. They just added better lighting to him. They gave him a little bit of facial paint, and they gave him a thing.
But that's a 3D render.
Yeah, this is a 3D render. It came from their article. The Xbox One. It comes from the Halo Infinite. Their friggin' where is it? It came from their what is it? The Halo. Halo Inside Halo Waypoint. That's where it is. Hold on, let me get it here. So it came from the Halo Waypoint, and I think the Halo Waypoint. What the hell is it called? Yeah, that blog.
Yeah, I think it's called Waypoint. Yeah.
Hold on, I'll find it. Hold on, I'll find it here. It says it right underneath exactly what it is. It's a 3D high-res render of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, damn, dude. Like, what are you doing? Like, why? And then here, this is, somebody showed this. Like, here we go. Well, this will come to the horizon. But here he is in game with the COVID mask on. You know what I mean? Here he is right here. And you look at that image, this high-res render of him. And it's like, dude, it does, like, why? And then this is the CGI movie. But why would you do this? Like, why would you set yourself up for that? And they just like being the meme, They just like, and everybody's like, Craig, yeah, see, exactly. This is what they had, and this is the in-game model. This is when you melee him, and his thing comes off. Look at the hair. Like, look at this. This is the in-game model of it. What are you doing? Why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you trying to sell people like this is what Craig looked like and now this is what he looks like? You should be comparing both in-game models to it, or don't even talk about it at all. I just don't get it. I don't know why they did it. Like, I could see why influencers and stuff like that might run with it, but the fact that Xbox themselves did it, yeah, it was not. It's not a great look that they're setting themselves up here because I think
it's a shit show.
It is a shit show.
You show gameplay. There's nothing wrong with putting up renders, but don't act like that's how it looks in the game when you just put out a trailer and we saw how it looked. It doesn't look like that.
Exactly. Like, I don't know why you would do that. Like, you can't show in-game model of last year and then showing a high-res render of it. Like, yeah, here he is in the game. Like, this is what I have in the thing. Hold on. Switching screens here. But yeah, this is what I have here. This is the in-game melee when you melee him. There he is. Like, that's in-game.
Wow.
Versus that high res render that they did. And they said it in the thing. Like, I just don't get it. They set themselves up. Like I said, half the stuff we talk about, they just set themselves up to be just a joke.
Yep.
Like,
totally agree.
Like a joke. Like, you become, and then they make fun of themselves. Like, oh, here's a fridge. You called us a fridge, and we make a fridge. And it's just like, dude, like, what's wrong with you? Are you that disconnected? Like, why are you selling people this thing? Why are you doing that?
They think it's funny, and they think it's cool, and they're being quippy, and like the life of the party, and really everybody's laughing at them. Not they're not laughing with them; they're laughing at them. It's like they don't get it. Like we're not laughing with you; we're laughing at you.
Like, you imagine if you're like in a playground and you want to demand respect, right? Like, the first thing you're gonna do is take a serious tone. Like, you're not gonna be a clown because you're not gonna be respected. So why would you do this? And like, here it is right here. So here it is, and it says, and this is the subtitle in this thing: render of an incredibly detailed brute. Craig did indeed get quite the glow up.
Oh my God, they actually called him Craig.
Oh, dang.
The fact that they call him Craig, they know they have to know they're being laughed at.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I know.
And you know what's sad?
You idiot!
I want Halo to be an amazing game. Like, I want to tell my friends, this is the reason you go buy an Xbox. But I don't think that at this point I can even tell most of my friends who even like Halo just to go buy an Xbox, because it's kind of like whatever.
Their character models in this high-end render looks good, but there are character models that are more detailed on the PS4 game.
Oh, there is. Yeah. Like,
God of War, Last of Us Part 2, Uncharted. I mean, Horizon. Come on.
Yeah, I know. It is really insane. Like, that they would take this high res render, call him Craig, and then like not even in game, and basically do this. And I'm just like, you guys enjoy it.
And they didn't tell you what that that trailer was running on.
No, they didn't.
Or Xbox.
Oh yeah, that is.
They did not.
I never thought about that.
And one thing Sony discloses if they show a trailer what it's running on. But the Xbox, it's a hit or miss when you know what's it actually running on.
Yeah, and it's just insane how poorly handled this Halo has been. It is a mess. How they've been handling this stuff. I've never even believed that they would do such a thing like here. With Halo, and just mishandle it this way. That 8-minute trailer that we talked about last week, that what it showed, and some of the questions that rose up, and I'm gonna get to the Battaglia's comment on that thing, because exactly what he said is exactly what we were saying last week about the issues with it. And then to follow that up with this, and and then directly compare it to last year's Craig, call it Craig, and it's not in the same situation. It's not in game. Like, what are you doing? Why are you you're just creating false expectations and
just
disappointment.
Halo, who would have thought Halo would become the laughing stock of the gaming industry?
I never
would
have thought that stuff.
Wouldn't think that. Yeah.
So here's Battaglia's take. Well, first off, we got a couple of things here. Just talking about this Halo stuff, some of the fallout, because apparently, if you didn't like what they shown, you better saddle up because you're a pony. So basically, there's this very, and this is something I don't talk too much about the social aspect of a lot of things, because I like to talk about the companies themselves. But one thing I am gonna say is that there seems to be a very, very strong, like, conglomerate of social media that if you don't like Halo, you're not a fan, you are a hating pony, and you just, like, don't know what you're talking about. And I feel is that, and this is exactly what I alluded to, where I said Halo is the last straw for a lot of people. If this game comes out and gets thrown through Sea of Thieves review mud, and it's setting up like that. I listened to some spaces today, and people are like, "Oh yeah, it has to be better." And what people have done, and I thought about doing a separate thing on this, but you want to know what? We got 130 people here. Hit that like button. I'm doing it right here, right here. I'm doing it. Halo 5 didn't warrant these Halo Infinite results. The complaints of Halo 5 did not warrant a complete reset, a redo, a scale back, trees that look like goddamn pine cone things that you shove and clean the goddamn toilet bowl with, like those friggin' ass cleaners. The complaints of Halo 5 did not even yield what the results we're getting with Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite doesn't even fix what Halo 5 does. It just kind of erases everything they ever did. So I think what people have done is say Halo 5 story was trash. This has to be better, so this will be reviewed better. Wise up, asshole. There is so much shit missing in this. It is graphically inferior to that game, and they better make sure the campaign. How do you think and from what you've seen, how can you be convinced they're going to tell a competent story? It is Far Cry. Go take over the strongholds. Go in there with there are no new capabilities except for the lame-ass hook shot that could be electrified. And the guys do the same-ass animation like they're getting a dildo shoved up their ass and they're electrocuted. Basically, they're like, and do that. We'll go in there with a shot or with a rocket launcher. And where's the variety? You can't sneak around. You can't set traps. Like, you'd even add gameplay elements to warrant some sort of exploration. They did the same thing in Gears 5. They said open world. They made you go on a dog sled and basically look at some caves. There was no elements of gameplay to warrant exploration. Why would you do that? Just to waste time. Now,
make it seem bigger.
Yeah, make it seem bigger. So now you go, oh, you know what? We're going to put stronghold missions. There's all different. You could go left. You could go right. You could get a car and drive in. You could actually fly in. You could go in with a rocket. You could go in with a sniper rifle. You could go in with... That is some lame-ass choice, especially in this day and age. Tell me this 20 years ago, maybe I'll be like, oh, that sounds interesting. But now with the capabilities, with the RPG elements they have put in first-person shooters in every other game, with leveling up and scalability, Jesus, just look at a Ghost of Tsushima or a Days Gone or any of these open-world games. And look at how much variety and how much leveling up and crafting and all this. There's no crafting in this. Where's Master Chief's survival armor? Bootleg Joel drops off a goddamn thing saying, here's your fucking spaceship out with bootleg sparks coming out of it. Here it is, bitch. Like, he throws it down like the trash that it looks like. That's what he does. He goes, here you go, flies over, he drops the trash, the goddamn vehicle, it sparks a little bit, bounces all over the place, gets a bunch of damage, and Chief jumps in like a bootleg Chief to go fly in to go kill some brutes. It's stupid. This does not, the complaints of Halo 5 don't even take effect in this game. But people are sitting here just trashing on Halo 5 like it was a disaster. And it wasn't. There was some campaign questions, and they're shoving Locke up our ass and making a movie about the guy when people just wanted to play as Chief. They didn't want to take... There were 5 missions. There were only 5 missions with Chief in Halo 5. 5 missions. There were like 15 with Locke. That was the problem. People didn't want to play as the new Spartan. They didn't want us to replace Chief. They wanted to know what happened with Cortana and Chief. They wanted to follow that story. Nonetheless, you group Chief up with his guys and his class from when he was on Reach. People want to roll with that crew, with Team Blue. They don't want to just roll. The balance of the game was poor. Just fix the balance. Make more Chief missions, put Locke in the background, and focus more on Chief now. That's all you had to do. Not take the shit all away. We don't even know if they even exist anymore. And drop me on Bootleg Halo with Bootleg Joel. And fly around this lame ass looking tree world with Minecraft blocks on the sign. But people are sitting here thinking that Halo 5 is so bad. Like, oh, Halo 5 is trash, so this got to be better. Halo 5 got an 83. This campaign, they heard our complaints. Now we're playing as Chief. This is going to be a 90. You better open up your eyes and your ass. Because you're wrong. You are wrong. Because this game is going to be reviewed for what it ships with. Okay? You might have some websites that give it the old pat on the back. Good job. You know, the Boy Scout chance, like, here you go. Well, there's potential for it to be good. I'm going to give it an 8.5. But I'm telling you, this thing's shipping without co-op, without Forge, and you got Chief walking around, rolling around, doing stronghold missions, rescuing Marines, shooting up lame-ass strongholds, blowing up And there goes the stream went down a second. I think it's back up. Hold on. The stream back up?
Yeah.
Let's see. Wait. Okay. Yeah, it dropped for
I think it is.
Let me see. This is like the old days when Phil used to shut down my streams. Oh, it's lagging. Hold on. Phil got me. They don't like when I have to say the truth. Hold on. Stream is on the Phil Ness attack. It says reconnecting. Hold on, fixing. Let's see. It says that it's back. That's so weird why that would happen. Hold on. Maybe I got too many Chrome streams open, maybe. Oh, I think it's back. Oh, maybe. You guys are still there, right? Hello, Discord? You guys are there, right?
Did it completely crash?
No, I think it's back. Hold on, I'm seeing something. I'm seeing. Oh, is this a redo or is it done? Oh wait, I'm live. I think we're live. Hold on. Don't mess it back. It says reconnecting. Guys, can you hear me? I am back. I am back. Arnold.
If you're lying to me, I'll be back.
I think the stream went down for a little bit. I think we're live. Hold on. Yeah, I think we're back.
Oh, okay.
All right. Grinders, can you hear me? I know there's a delay. Hold on. I'm just going to listen. Oh, I think it's back. Oh, maybe. Yeah, we're back online. We're back.
All right.
All right. Where was I? Thank you. There was a super chat, too, that came through right there with Free Moolah says, Xbox is like a Tesla and Phil Spencer trying to put gasoline in it.
Oh my God.
That's a good one, Fee. I like that one. Thanks, Fee. Appreciate it. We're back, guys. We're back. Anyway, so as I was saying about the Halo stuff, the community seems to be really giving the work to the Halo 5 to try to make this game seem better. Like Halo was never looking. I've done this a bunch of times. And and one of the things here is like, one of the things I wanted to show here was like somebody put a picture up here and they got like, hey, look at the Halo, look at these two games. Which one's different? And you look at it and like, and now he has blown up. You can see, but like Here's Halo Infinite, and here's Halo 4. Like, dude, like, I can't believe how, like, of course, Halo Infinite looks a little sharper, but man, the atmosphere
Whoa.
in Halo 4, Halo 5 just looks desolate. Halo Infinite, I mean, it looks so desolate. It looks so empty. Like, it doesn't look like somebody would warrant exploration. And that's the point that I'm getting at, that it's just, they trying to build a world for exploration to promote longevity to the game, but they're not doing a very effective job of it. And if you look at the other Halo games, they've set atmosphere. Even the ones from them, which is crazy. But let's get to that Battaglia thing here. And then we'll move on to the next topic here. But are you seeing that as well? Like this complete hatred of Halo 5? Like all of it? Frog, have you seen it? Are you seeing this?
Yeah,
like
I've seen it.
I've seen it, but
Mhm.
I would say a lot of the hate is more towards just it not being a lot of people feeling like it's not Halo. Like it's not what Halo's come to be. It's just become something new. So that's a lot of the hate I've seen. And then I've seen people just, hate it because it's not like the way they show it is like in snippets. They don't really show like a full mission. And so people are hating on it because of that too. So I don't know. This isn't a good look for it. I would say that.
I know.
A lot of people didn't like the campaign.
Yeah.
And some people didn't like the multiplayer because of some of the Spartan abilities. I guess I enjoyed it, but some people just didn't like it.
I enjoyed the multiplayer. The story itself, the campaign, I didn't have a problem with. It was kind of like it did lead you on, but I would say I enjoyed
the marketing was very misleading, though.
Yes, it was. It was.
And just before I just say, like, before I move on to what Alex's comment is, because that's somewhat similar, but also to like Toolman, what's up, Tools? I just want to say, like, the thing is, hey, what's up, Mo? Let's go. How you doing? Hit that like button, everybody. Share it out. We're gonna go a couple more topics here. We got some good ones next. But we're talking Halo right now, and one of the things that I just want to say is, like, I do feel what they're trying to do, not very effectively, is they're trying to capture that time when you landed on the Halo ring in Halo 1. And you just kind of changed the game for, like, what Halo was. It was like you could go left. It wasn't open world, but it was like a wide open space that has not yet been seen in, like, kind of console games and stuff. And I think they're trying to do that again with, like, hey, just have them land on a Halo ring. This is what people always wanted. And just go on, explore the Halo ring. And
right.
I think that's interesting. That sounds great on paper, but if that's the game that you wanted to create, I would expect more gameplay and features added for that kind of exploration capabilities.
Agree.
And it goes along the lines, like, similar thing to like Gears 5. You're gonna do open world. Like, why was Kate what is it, Gear guy number 4, whatever his name was, Daryl, I don't forget his name, but the girl. But Kate was running around in the same kind of like roadie run that you do when you're trying to go from cover. Wouldn't it be interesting if you're gonna do Kate, having her maybe have like a hook shot, or even have some sort of climbing capabilities to say, hey, unlike Marcus, she is definitely more athletic and she could kind of climb places.
Yeah, she's more agile.
And add kind of gameplay elements to say, like, hey, not only, because remember the whole thing while we're playing as Kate, everybody was like, why are we doing Kate? And it's like, oh, because it's her story. But you could have even justified it from a gameplay perspective, going like, hey, you want to have some open world segments. Kate now has some gameplay elements that would warrant more exploration in these segments. She could do this.
Right.
She could climb things. She has, like, she has stealth capability. She has this. Meanwhile, they just kept her as the same Gears of War control, and it just didn't feel right in the open world. Likewise, you come here to Halo. Now Halo's open world, and you're like, let's add, you should have been all out. You should have took what Far Cry did and made it better. That's what you should have done. If this was your vision, you should have said, what does an open world RPG type first person shooter look like, where you're raiding camps and taking on things. And it's things like setting up traps. It's like infiltrating. It's AI that has a detection, like a Metal Gear type thing. And look at Metal Gear Solid, like how many different like ways you could infiltrate. It's all about exploration and doing that. And it doesn't look like this game warrants that. And the fact that everybody wants an open world Halo game, but it seems like it's a very scaled down Halo game. And a lot of it is, and Alex says this too, and some of the guys in the chat, what's up, Salty? How you doing, man? That Halo was definitely more of like, it gives you a gun in a room and you'll be able to attack. Like it was much more set piece driven, and and it escalated to a big fight, or things were happening and like it would change the story, or it'll have you like explore certain areas and to find clues, and then basically you'll have like a sniper there, and then it'll open up to like this open area where there's vehicles, and now there's snipers. You're like, oh crap, like and it like led to these set piece moments. It was a bunch of set piece little areas. Here's a vehicle section, here's a tank section, here's a very narrow corridor with shotgun and one light going on, and it was very driven like that. And to just be like, now we're just gonna throw all the weapons at you, all the vehicles. Bootleg's gonna stay in the helicopter, and you just go rolling around and just run into bases where brutes are just standing there waiting to be run over, and blow up 3 big flaming posts. Like, it's the sandbox. You could do it with the hook shot. I just don't think that it sounds more like a fan made project than actually the 6th version of a game. And that's just my rant on the thing. And actually, I said a lot of it last week too. But listen to what he says, and it's actually similar to what I said last week, what a lot of people have been saying. But actually, before I get into that, Frog, what did you see? I forgot that, we didn't talk to you last week. What did you think of that whole thing? I just want to get your opinion on it.
When I looked at Halo for what they showed, I was interested more in just, I guess, like, it interests me. I can't say it looked horrible, but I would say it wasn't a huge leap from what we saw with that delay. I would say it was just like they cleaned some things up, but I was interested. But I guess my biggest thing from what I saw and like what I took away from it was like, wait, this looks cool, but I'm not going to be able to play with my son or anybody through that. And it's like, why would you create this big open world and you can't play with it and you have to wait 3 months? See what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like this game obviously isn't ready for prime time. It should have been delayed, but they're not going to do it again because they've made too many promises. Yeah, just seeing that big world, I could imagine riding around this world with 3 of my friends. Because you know what it really entirely reminded me of in a lot of ways, and I keep saying it reminded me of Destiny. It had that Destiny feel, like, okay, like we're gonna go around and we're gonna do these missions, and that's how we're feeling this game is gonna play out, like a Destiny kind of game, where every 3 to 6 months they're gonna add some new content, and they're gonna say, oh, $39.99 or whatever, $29.99, and here's this new story piece, and that's how they're gonna keep it going, like a Destiny type game. I don't have a problem with anything I saw, except for just knowing that I'm not going to be able to play this day one with my friends co-op. Yeah. That's the only thing. And I'm like, do I just focus on the multiplayer now and say screw co-op, screw it until it comes out, 3 months from now? And by then, 3 months from now, there's too many big games coming out. And I think they're kind of they're setting themselves up for failure, because if you look at what February is coming out, man, February is stacked.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I know.
February is stacked. So they're if they can't get this right at launch, I think they're gonna have a problem. Yep. I do think they're gonna have a problem.
That's right. So we're gonna hear what Alex had to say. He said this today. So let's see what he has to say. They did a kind of a recap.
Reading forum posts and whatnot, and a lot of people do think it looks better. And quite honestly, I've watched it multiple times. I looked for all of the issues that I pointed out in my video that, brought up its own controversy back when it came out. And I'm actually seeing very little changes in the direction that I thought would make the game look decidedly better. And, I've seen people putting the cinematic moments side by side, and whatnot from Ben, and I did not actually see great technical large differences between them in a positive direction. I actually saw some things that I thought looked worse than the initial campaign trailer showing of the cinematic, for example. And I'm going back in time now, looking at the initial Slipgate engine video, showing off all those varied and interesting biomes. And for some reason, we are still seeing this piney northwest of the United States or Canada biome that we've seen already now so many times before. What about all like the diversity of like a typical Halo campaign? Where's the interesting looking deserts or the, like the like massive tree forest or something that we've also seen in Halo 4? Why are we not seeing any of these other more interesting visual things? We keep seeing this like the same thing over and over again. We just saw it, and I'm just not interested in what this area looks like, and I actually don't think it looks very good. And I know that's probably disappointing to some of the audience that are thinking that I would be happy to talk about some great progress that I saw in the Halo campaign footage here. But beyond the gameplay beats, which has nothing to do with the visual quality, I think the gameplay looks interesting, even though I'm a bit worried about level design. I don't think they actually have shown or proven anything regarding the technical advancements the campaign has made since we last saw it.
Yeah. It actually goes on, and that was only the clip on Twitter, but actually it goes on to, they ask him why. One of the other guys asks him why, why do you think that this, why are you nervous about the campaign? And actually, he says, typically what we were saying about this whole like set piece stuff, which is interesting, is that, what I was saying last week about this whole, like, we're seeing the same area. Halo was, like I said in Halo, this is the 6th iteration of Halo. We've been to space. We fought in space. We fought in the snow. We fought in the sand. We fought underground. Like, we fought Flood. We fought in Forerunner Institution. We fought on foreign planets. And Halo 5 was a planet hopper. We were hopping on different planets all over the galaxy. You're fighting on ships. You're flying Banshees into ships. You're flying from Reach into a ship. You've done so much in Halo. For them to show this same world from 5 different angles in the last year, it's worrisome. Because I'm going to tell you, I hear this and I think, that sand area, season 2. That snow area, season 5. That's what it seems like. That's why they keep showing the same biome, because this is season 1's biome. You're going to do everything in this pine field with those ass cleaners, trees, and you're going to do that for season 1 until we tell you we're going to open up the snow mountains for you guys. Maybe we'll open it up in the snow, and maybe we'll open up the desert in the summer. Ooh. Like, it seems so strange. Like, they're not showing this expansive campaign across the Halo ring. They're showing you the same stupid-ass area. I'm going to find the video, but what do you think about what he said? You guys there? Hello? Oh, from
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think about that Battaglia thing?
So I've heard some of the conversation around the trailer, and a lot of people are saying the game's been improved and it looks better. I didn't see any. I never saw any improvements. I mean, I don't know how much you can improve it in 1 year, So, yeah, I'm interested in seeing some other areas of the game, because they don't seem to be showing us. They don't seem to be showing us very much other than this one area. So, yeah. I don't know if there's they're not going to show you everything in a trailer. I get it. It's a trailer. They're not going to show you everything. But I'm hoping there are some different biomes and things like that, and that we're not just stuck in the same wooded, northwestern, whatever type of environment. So, the world, just like I've been saying, the world just seems very stagnant. The game don't seem very dynamic. co-op would have helped this game tremendously.
Tremendously, yeah. Exactly.
Tremendously, this particular game, especially going to have this big, barren, open
But it's
world.
fun.
It
But
would
it's
have. I
fun.
think it would have helped.
It would have helped with the fun factor, I think.
Yeah,
I don't
it
know
would
if
have
it'll
helped
help. Yeah, it would definitely probably took away some of the monotony that you might do as just by yourself and going into these
Yeah,
things.
exactly.
And like what Salty said, I know I joke about the whole that 28 tech demo with in-engine and stuff, and I kind of rolled my eyes when they showed that Craig in-engine in high-res render. I'm like, you already showed me what game engine demonstration was with the the Lion King kind of rolling mountains in the air, and the animals were herding, and everybody was singing and all this other stuff, and everybody wants to hear it, and I'm like, him and yada, from the day we arrived on Halo's planet. And basically, Elton John comes rolling out, and they like friggin' have these animals. They got the hippos rolling around.
You're
and
my
then
number one customer.
And it's like, this is what we're doing right here. Like, this is what Halo. Oh my God, get me excited. And then we see, what we're seeing right now. Again, setting expectations just to demonstrate whatever, setting themselves up to fail. Shout out to Strong Jawline Herman. Excellent name with the $2. He says, I say we throw our Xboxes in the garbanzo as soon as possible. Hey, man, throw them if you got them. But, yeah, it is, they are not doing themselves any goddamn favors. I'll tell you that. So this is the part where he says, thank you for the super chat, Strong Herman Holtz died. Get the games with the quality, not booty clapping in the streets. But anyway, hear what he says about this.
Just say, yes, enter it as you will. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like Halo based upon what they showed me, other than the fact that it looked very dynamic and, it had some really cool stuff going on in terms of like jumping up in the air and shooting rockets. But it didn't look like Halo to me.
Maybe it uses a kind of a Gears of War style, there's parts of the campaign which funnel you down for those scripted moments. And then it opens out. For a Dust Bowl, if you like. Gears of War did like a very small scale version of that, but you know what I mean.
They need to show it, man.
They just wanted to show something, the new thing, which was the open sandbox sort of areas. But maybe that was why it's top of the billing for what to put in a campaign demo, where in fact it's not so remarkable in the context of
it's not
games these days, because we're in an era of Assassin's Creeds where this is not like outside the ordinary.
Exactly.
But for Halo, it is. Yeah. I think kind of it is unique. So that is why I think they're pushing it as the key selling point. It isn't as remarkable as I wish it was, and I totally agree, Alex. I wish I would be wowed. Halo has to be your flagship, wow moment that has to sell consoles. It is Xbox, in much the same way Forza, and Gears used to be. But it's got to be this spectacular moment, and I'm sure. I mean, the multiplayer beta is great fun. It's it's one of the best Halo experiences I've had in a long time. But I am looking to the campaign for a sense of what is this game about now? Like, what is the story? What do you have to bring? What we've been waiting for in this campaign trailer? I didn't see it yet, but hopefully they'll, when we finally get it, we'll get a good sense of what the story is, and the cinematic flourishes as well, which we kind of were kept away from us in this one.
I think there are numerous issues. I think we should probably talk about those in the discrete video that's
there's a discrete video that's coming. But yeah, you could sense the disappointment. And again, he says it, and Halo has to be this game. And I've said this, but you go back and listen to my stuff from a year ago, 2 years ago. Halo has to deliver. If it doesn't deliver, this is a straw for a lot of people. They will not admit it. They will not go on Twitter and admit it. But I'm telling you, this is gonna be the straw for a lot of people. If this game does not hit the mark, there's gonna be hell to pay, and people are gonna really see what I've been seeing, that Microsoft doesn't know what the hell they're doing. They are trying to make services and a velocity architecture and distributions and all this other stuff instead of just making great games. And the games are hurting from this. And we've seen this. This is not the first. They've destroyed Sea of Thieves after 5 years, feature complete. Are you kidding me? 5? Like, who has that time? Halo got a hit. If it doesn't hit, who's coming back to it? If this comes out and gets like an 80, a 75, like, dude, like, hey, it's going to get co-op and we'll revisit it then in a few months. But right now by itself, it's really, the campaign's okay. But like, this thing needs co-op to even have the fun factor, because it gets kind of dull of going into the same type structures and blowing up 5 things and leaving, getting a cutscene. Like, that's like, if that's what they're doing, because that's what they're showing. And he says, maybe there's hub areas to open up. Like, you want to know what? Show it. Show it. Why are you being so weird about Halo? After all this time, you showed a 6-minute video. Yeah, I think so. So I think this thing might be like an 80, 75, like a low 80, high 70 Metacritic. Because this is the other thing, too. This game's going to be completely rated on the campaign, because that is the $60 thing. I think it's going to be a fallacy if some people combine the multiplayer with the score of the single player, and the multiplayer.
It's separate.
It better be. But I hope Microsoft's Phil Ness in here saying, hey, if we ship them both at the same time, we're going to get a complete review for the multiplayer and single player together, and that could help us with our scores. That could be a reason why they won't release them separately, because Phil made it a point that he had to have these come out together. When people are saying, well, the single player is not ready, why don't you just wait to campaign? And I think it's because the way it will be reviewed as a complete package, even though the single player is not needed. The proper way would be to review them separately, because one's a $60 pay-for product and the other one's free-to-play. They should be two with their own seasons. They should be interviewed separately. And hopefully that's the way to get reviewed. There hasn't been clarity on it, but I hope people don't review them as one complete package, because it shouldn't be. So this game is going to live and die by its campaign. And it better be. It better be Metacritic, because Phil was very adamant about shipping them together. And I was like, why? That makes no sense. And maybe it makes sense in the review world. Like, hey, they'll be playing it together. Maybe if they like the multiplayer, they'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Who knows? But I know they're not confident in that campaign. Nor are they confident in their multiplayer. The multiplayer was competent. But already, we got people going, the multiplayer is incredible. It's 90. 90? Did you see what it looked like compared to what other games, what Battlefield's doing and what they're doing? This game is a competent Halo game. It's taking the basics of Halo 5 and making them in the multiplayer. Like, it's not doing anything revolutionary. It's not doing anything outstanding. It's not leading any modes or anything. It's not doing anything. It's just being a safe Halo game. Safe. And we'll add later. And I heard the show. Yes, that's right. Just wait. I heard like Tim Dog was saying like the campaign could be like 6 to 8 hours or 8 hours. They were saying maybe 12. He was saying maybe like 8. Yo, and I know Halo campaigns are not super long, but they were curated big set piece moments. If it's 8 hours, possibly 15 hours, if you take your time of blowing up strongholds and unlocking parts of the map and taking the map back, that's going to be a grueling, grinding 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever the hell that is. So good luck to them. But I'm just saying, like right now, the tone on Halo right now is that the multiplayer seems competent. I'm going to play it. And I'm going to play the campaign. But I was planning on buying it. I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to use my free Game Pass that came on my computer and use that to run through the Halo game. Because I was going to just buy Halo Infinite, like definitely. And then like I'm just going to get the I don't know. Like this campaign is not selling me. And I just think that, not having multiplayer in the campaign is, like what Frog said, it sucks. Like it's going to be such a lonely mission. A lonely thing, and it's going to be really hard to, the story's really going to have to keep you captivated. So, we will see. But the next topic on the Grinds board is the, where is it here? We have here the finances and the third-party subs, and that goes into the Microsoft and Sega thing that happened today. But yeah, so the finance reports came out. According to Microsoft's finance campaign, they had That's right, Twisted. Thank you. Good luck. But, exactly. And yeah, we will see how this goes. But the other thing that came in was this whole Game Pass stuff. And again, my biggest problem with this whole Game Pass stuff is not the service itself. It's what it's doing to the games and what it's doing to the culture of playing games. And we've seen this on numerous times. Guys, hit that like button. We've seen this so many times where the game is being built for the service. It's a Game Pass game. It's doing this. It's doing that. And we talked about it earlier, is that Microsoft seems very random on what's Game Pass. Like, they had a strong month in April with getting Outriders and getting MLB The Show. Then it kind of dwindled down. And then they got Back for Blood. They got some, they also got the other game, what was it? The other game that they had? That was the Hades. They got in the game, Hades and Game Pass. So they got some good, all right games in Game Pass. And then now they got the Forza, they got the GTA San Andreas coming in November, and they got Halo coming in December. So it just seems that as a service where you want to say subscribed, it seems like it is kind of ups and downs and, dull months and high months and really kind of head scratches and very random on what they're getting. And it seems like they're just throwing everything but the kitchen sink at this. And one of the things that came up was that they were targeting a 37%. They were targeting 48%, I believe.
You're my number one customer.
47%. What was my thing not popping up from the... Oh, there it is. Strong Joline Herman says, I want a Guardians of the Galaxy sequel now. I'm sure a lot of people...
Great game.
Yeah.
Great game. I finished it this morning.
I got to play that because I've been seeing a lot of screenshots. I'm going to be playing that. But yes, I heard a lot.
My runner-up for game of the year so far.
I heard that for a lot of people. I'm interested. I'm definitely excited to play it. Yeah, because I at first one, and that was a game that did not have a good kind of showing the first time. It kind of looked like just like a spin-off of the Avengers game, and then really turned into its own. So like, I'm glad that it actually is the game that they probably want the Avengers game to be, which is very good. But going back to the finance stuff, so like they were targeting with the Xbox, they were targeting here. Let me get the numbers here. Do you remember, Link, what they were targeting? Like the 48%, they hit 37%, right? Something like that. I think 48% they were targeting for growth, and then they hit the 37. Hold on, let me get to my my numbers here where I had this. Oh man, I got all this stuff here. So here it is here. And then the other thing that came out today was the financials from the other companies. But so this is where that was compared to the PlayStation one. So they missed their targets with their Game Pass stuff. And I have a video here where actually somebody really goes into it. Actually, Gaming Bolt was talking about this, and this is very interesting about their take on it. So here it is right here, and we'll get what you guys want to think.
The core point that I've been driving at is presumably clear at this point. Subscription services need to hit a critical mass to be profitable, which brings us back to Game Pass. Axios reported that Microsoft had missed its subscriber targets for Game Pass by 11%. Subscriber growth over the last year was 37% rather than the 48% Microsoft had projected. Now the optics of Microsoft not managing to hit targets for what has become their overwhelming focus in the video game space over the last few years aside, at first glance, this doesn't seem too bad. They still saw growth of 37% after all, and obviously you would expect growth margins to fall as the base they work from increases. But there are a few factors here that complicate the picture a fair bit. The most important thing to consider here is that this missed target was in a period where entertainment media consumption went up across the board. COVID-19 induced lockdowns and quarantines across the board had people turning to indoor media entertainment for escape, and video game hardware and software sales rose tremendously in this period. Subscription services like Netflix saw insane growth. Individual projects, whether sold a la carte or offered on services, such as Animal Crossing New Horizons, saw huge success. Then there is the fact that over the last year and a half, Microsoft has kicked up marketing efforts for Game Pass, made several high-profile deals for day-one launches on the service, such as Back for Blood or Outriders, procured an incredible amount of meaningful third-party content, such as all the Yakuza or Kingdom Hearts games, offered multiple $1 promotions, bundled it with Xbox All Access, launched xCloud to the public, and of course, gotten a fresh chance for a crack at the console market with a new generation console launch. So, amidst all of this, for Game Pass to miss its targets a little is troubling.
Yeah, so as you heard, like, so they tried, and they again, they stopped sharing their numbers as of end of last year. 18 million is the official one, and then they were trying to call them out for 30 million, and Phil again doubled down on 18 million. The thing is that Game Pass is definitely a head scratcher because they have been not consistent with their releases of first party games, with the gets of third party, and even companies coming out like Rockstar, and 2K, and being like, we're not putting our premier titles on there day one. We'll put your legacy titles, like they see with San Andreas and stuff like that, and GTA and Red Dead Redemption. We'll put some legacies on your service, but we're not gonna put like GTA 6 on there day one. We're not putting our premier titles, our icebreaking titles, or those things. And everybody goes, and I saw this too. I think it was Tim Dog or somebody tweeted out like and it was pretty obvious. Like, Microsoft is all in on Game Pass. They're all in on this is it. And that's why I think there's so much pressure on them, and people get all upset when you don't like Game Pass and you don't like what it does. People are like, no, because they know that this is all their eggs in this basket of Game Pass. And this is everything that Microsoft's focusing on. The main issue is like, how much are they sacrificing by committing to this? Everybody talks about the gains of Game Pass, but who are they cutting out because of Game Pass? Like, what publishers are they? Yeah, they're cutting out a lot of third party from what they're doing, and they're only getting like the hand-me-downs, the couple of year exclusive games. They're not really getting the premier titles. And you find out that you're paying $15 a month or $1. Here you go, first month $1, and you still need to buy those Call of Duties, those Far Cry 6s, the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Mass Effect trilogy remake. You still have to buy those games in addition to paying $15 to get games that they're going to tell you what you're going to play. But what's happening is that the trickle effect is kind of like, people don't want to be in an I gotcha moment. They don't want to be like, hey, I just bought this game and then boom, it shows up in Game Pass in a month, and then they feel like a sucker. You know what I mean? And that's kind of leading to this whole third-party success on the platforms. And I want to get your opinion on it. Like, do you think it's having a direct effect? Because these numbers are pretty damn low that we've seen here. So Capcom released their stuff, right? And their software shipments were, the Switch was 3.65 million, the PlayStation was 2.75 million, and the Xbox was 400,000. I don't know if I could zoom in on this picture here.
That's pitiful.
Like,
that's pretty damn bad.
It's bad,
and that's not.
Dude.
People are saying that's not just physical sales either.
Yeah, that's pretty damn bad. I think and I think everybody can agree with this. And no, and I hate to keep saying no fanboy crap. And the reason I keep saying it is because it's just like, people who primarily play on Xbox don't get it. People aren't saying things to hurt their feelings. The truth is the truth. Like, you can put a game on these consoles, and we know it's going to sell on PlayStation. And the Xbox group, they don't really buy a lot of these games, and I think that Game Pass is their saving grace, and I think Game Pass works for them. And I don't think that, and we've said this so many times, it's not a necessity for the other two companies to do this, because their games sell. Even their new IPs sell. Ghost of Tsushima was a brand new IP.
Yeah.
And my whole thing is like, even a third party, and I think what you're gonna start seeing is, you're gonna see some third party games that come on PlayStation 4 and 5, and then maybe 6 months to a year later they come on Xbox, because they're like, at this point, we can release it here, and then Microsoft, what do you want to pay us to get this a year later and put it in Game Pass? Because we know it's not going to sell on your console. So what? You guys got a big freaking fat freaking piggy bank. What do you really want to pay us to put this in Game Pass? So it makes your service look good, but on the flip side, we get paid too. Like a game like Resident Evil Village, it should be a huge selling game, but you just think about it and say, well, what if Capcom comes to them and say, you know, they already have it in their mind. Let's put this on PlayStation 4 or 5, and then we'll put it in Game Pass like a year later. We don't even announce it for Xbox, and then a year later we say, hey, guess what's coming to Game Pass? And yeah, that sounds like a win. Well, realistically, we're just trying to recoup whatever we know we wouldn't get.
Yeah.
It's sad.
What's interesting, Frog, is what I looked at from this chart that I'm showing from Capcom's financials is that if you look at the 2014 and look at the difference between the PlayStation, where there were more SKUs, but if you look at the total, it was like 4,200 versus 2,950. So there was about like 1,000 difference, right? Like a million difference between it. But it was 17 products versus 11. The products are dropping, but now you look and you got 4 products here with the PlayStation, 2 SKUs for the Xbox, and you're talking Xbox One, Series X and S, 400. And you look at the year before, 8 SKUs at 33 with only 300, and then 21 SKUs with 6,500 versus 1,200. Like, it has been just going down. And what's interesting is this year, Resident Evil, probably the biggest known IP of Capcom, was on the Xbox. So you would think it's not like a lot of these Capcom exclusive games that they dropped on PlayStation and not on Xbox or something or some like weird offshoot Capcom games. Like this was Resident Evil, the biggest one next.
Jez, you want me to tell you something? You know why that game is not going to move on Xbox? Because I've heard time and time again from people in the community that are on Xbox, I'm waiting for it to come to Game Pass.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
There it is.
That's what they say.
And that's
what they say.
And whatever your name is going to kill that console. That's going to kill that service. You sitting there waiting for these big games to come to Game Pass, and if they never do, and it's sad because here's the thing: there's games they want to play, but they're trying to. I'll wait for it to come to Game Pass mentality. That's going to kill it. That's going to kill it. But they don't realize they're hurting their own freaking platform by doing that. If there's a game that's good and you want it, go play it. But they want to say, I'm waiting for it to come to Game Pass. Whereas the Nintendo and the PlayStation guys are like, oh man, that's a good game. I'm going to pick it up and buy it. I'm going to support it.
Let me ask you a question here, Frog. Let me ask you a question.
Dad.
When do you think MLB The Show is going to sell a lot on Xbox next year? The new one? 2020?
If it's not in Game Pass?
If it's not in Game Pass.
If it's not in Game Pass, yes.
It'll still sell decently.
I would say it's going to sell decently because it's the only MLB game out there. But I would say...
and maybe it is an outlier like that. But what I'm trying to get at is like, if the first game was in Game Pass, like I'm not buying it day. I wouldn't be buying it day. As a consumer, if I was put in that position, I wouldn't buy it in day one. And I'm sure what they're going to do is pull that game out right before spring training, so you're hungry for the new one, and then they're going to put the new one. Oh, look what they're doing with Destiny. You got Destiny 2, all the DLC, everything last year. Everybody was going crazy about it, but guess what?
All this new DLC coming, you got to buy it.
So now what do you think about that? Like, is somebody going to be like, oh, I'm buying it, or somebody going to be like, oh, no, that will just come to Game Pass probably next year?
They're going to wait. They're going to be like, oh, I'll wait for it to come in game. They're being really, I don't want to say selfish, because it's not a selfish thing. They're saving money.
But you don't want to be screwed. That's the thing.
But what they're doing is they're afraid to buy anything in fear that it may come to Game Pass. And you can't live and play games like that, because if you live with the fear that it may come in this service that I like, you're never really going to play any games, and all you're going to do is this what ifs and maybes and talk about the what ifs and scenarios and maybes. And then here's the other thing, then when you do get some of the games that you're supposed to get, they're going to be underwhelming to you. These games that Xbox and Microsoft Studios have been promising to you, Avowed and the Fables and all this. When you finally, the Perfect Darks, when you finally get these games, they may be underwhelming to you. And you're like, damn, I waited for this for 2 years. And I could remember, but no, you've been sitting there waiting, watching the competition, talking about, oh man, well, this is not good. This is not that great. This is not a game of your contender. But yet instead, you seeing with the competition, they're playing games, the games are selling, but you're waiting for things to come in Game Pass. If you live and die by the mentality, you might as well just say, you know what? Why not just freaking not buy an Xbox system at all? This is me, not buy an Xbox system at all. Go out there and build yourself a PC and just buy it on Steam because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
I don't get their mentality.
Well,
I really
and
don't.
that's the
Well,
thing. Like,
this service.
like,
Well, this service and this fan base is conditioned to not buy games, and so because Microsoft is treating the service as its main feature versus something that's supplemental to the platform. So PlayStation treats PS Now as a supplemental feature, but it's not the main way they want you to consume games. They still want you to purchase games. They don't want someone to buy a PlayStation and just sign up for PS Now. You want customers to buy your first party content. You want customers to buy third party games on your console because those are streams of revenue. But when your only stream of revenue is this service, and then your customer base is saying things like, I've heard this. I asked a guy who's a primary Xbox player. What if there was a game that he wanted to play, but it was not in Game Pass? Guess what he told me?
Wait.
I won't play it. I'll just wait. I'll just wait. I'll just wait because eventually it will come, right?
Dude, and you heard.
I'm gonna tell you something, Link. Before just that's why I think that the Battlefield game is gonna it's not gonna sell as good on Xbox because that rumor Battlefield's coming to Game Pass. People have that. Any game that gets rumored to come to Game Pass does not sell well on that system because now people have it in their mind, this may come. So if I don't want to buy it and then 2 months later it comes. Because the rumor was Battlefield was going to Game Pass, and they were like, "Oh, it's just a rumor. We don't know." I guarantee people that game is not going to sell good on Xbox because people are going to wait and see if it comes in Game Pass 2 months from now, and then if it doesn't, then they may buy it. But they had this fickle mentality of, man, if this game is rumored to come to Game Pass, I'm going to wait and see. So everything's a wait and see.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, wouldn't you be? And like, if that was the way the system was going, like, I wouldn't like you would be feel comfortable going, I'm gonna pre-order Horizon and buy Horizon. But think about if, well, that's a first party game, so you can't even use that. But like, I'm saying a game that like the prequel, like say Outriders 2 comes out, like, are you feeling confident on Xbox to pre-order Outriders 2? Like, if you liked it, thinking like, hey, the first one went to Game Pass, like the second one should go to Game Pass, right? Like, so I'm not gonna feel comfortable buying this game until I figure out where it is. And look how disruptive that was, where 2 weeks before they're like, oh, it's going to Game Pass, and people had to do refunds. You know what I mean? People like,
Yes, I would like to have a refund. Yes,
I'm telling you, that's.
And some of the people in the chat are saying, wait, I just want to read some of the chats, like some of the grinders here going like, is it, Josh Ayer says that, he was saying like, will third party say we'll go exclusively to PlayStation in a few years?
I think it's going to happen. I think you're going to get games.
That's a good point.
You're going to go back to that PS2 era where games that were multi-plat are just on PlayStation and Nintendo or just on PlayStation because they're like, look, we can't make our money really on the other competition because they want it in Game Pass. So you know what? Yeah, we'll eventually put it in Game Pass, but we got to make our money up front. We got to make this. We got to make our money up front. And then when the next Tomb Raider game comes out, and if Microsoft hasn't worked a deal out for it to be in Game Pass, they're like, hey, this Tomb Raider's coming out. It's going to be great. Let's go ahead, put it on the PlayStation, and then a year from now, we'll put it in Game Pass. And then it makes everybody happy.
And the other thing that comes up here, and I have been showing up here for the Guardians of the Galaxy, and this has just been the kind of motif for the whole year. These UK box charts, and I know that PlayStation is dominating in UK, but my God, like you're looking at 82% of Guardians of the Galaxy is sold on a PlayStation platform.
Yep. It's sold out.
Riders Republic was a 72% on PlayStation platforms. Like, this is the UK boxed charts. Like, I just feel that every friggin' multiplat is just it is really like the dichotomy between the two of them. It is jarring how poorly it's doing outside of the United States. Like, again,
and this is
It's
you know,
scary.
good.
and this is partly because they want to, you start releasing your first party games day and date in that service. You start making deals where third party games come day and date. You start conditioning your fan base to just wait on things to come to that service. Third party sales are drying up over there. Microsoft's financials, they stated that third party sales were down. And so it's an effect of, not that people are trying to crap on Game Pass, but it's not that. It's just looking at the raw numbers, and you see the huge disparity between the sales on the PlayStation console versus the Xbox. Like, it shouldn't be. Yes, the game should sell more on PlayStation just because they should sell more on PlayStation because PlayStation has a larger install base. But the gap, it shouldn't be this big.
No. Especially at the beginning of a console. Sorry, Frog. But I was gonna say, especially at the beginning of a console, right? This was a reset technically, but not really because you had digital carryover. But this was a reset, right? They should be pretty close.
And it's not like, I just want to say one more thing. It's not like Microsoft has a ton of first party games that are competing with these third party games for sales. They don't have any first party out, so there's no excuse for the people not to be buying stuff on that console.
And that's my whole point. But like Link said, okay, we know because of user base, the PlayStation is going to obviously sell more. But when you see the sales are just abysmal on Xbox, you're like, wait a minute, you guys don't have your user base is still okay, it's decent for you. Why aren't these games selling?
I know, you guys scratch your head. Shout out to Optimus Harry Nips, the $2. He goes, I love Game Pass for indies. Dude, that's a great point. Indie games, I think that's why I said they should call it the Indie Pass, because I believe this whole rushing third party and putting all their games in there day one, I think that was the big sell of it, but I also think that was the biggest travesty of it, because I do think that Microsoft should have balanced their first party releases, that some games might release in Game Pass, some might not. So maybe Halo could survive the Halo Infinite service and be the game that it should be, not the game service within a service. But I think for indies, I would love an indie pass. Like, I think that is great. You don't have to charge like a very excessive amount because you're not putting big AAA games in there or have to get them. You don't disrupt that sale, but you also give the where those games could live, where I don't want to spend $25 on a game I really don't know for an indie. But you know what? If it's in a Game Pass, I might play it now and enjoy the game, which is great because it's a low entry, low cost, and it gives the indies the exposure that they need. I think that would have been a great position for Game Pass to start off and then maybe eventually build. But this is the problem that Microsoft has. They don't have the patience. And this is the point that I want to get with when we're talking about these financials here, is that, yes, Microsoft has tons of money, but Microsoft does not have tons of patience. We've seen this with Mixer. We've seen this with Connect. We've seen this with Groove Music. We've seen this Windows Phone. We've seen this with Windows 8. We've seen this. Microsoft has a history. They don't have the patience with Skype and all the Skype integration, and they don't have the patience. And then what they don't do is they don't naturally grow. Mixer was a perfect case example of this. They had Mixer. They tried to do original content. Upload Studio was another thing they tried to do, have original content. And then eventually they got rid of Upload Studio. Now there's no video editing program on Xbox. But for Mixer, they started with original content. And then what happened was it wasn't growing fast enough. It was still that 2%, 1%. So excuse me, after E3 2019, they got rid of all their original content. They fired everybody. And instead, at the end in October, they purchased Ninja. They used that money to buy the big guys from Twitter, just buy them over to try to inject kind of a flow to grow Mixer faster. Why do you think Ninja, Shroud, all those guys were paid big money to come over artificially? It was to increase the rate. Now, let's use Game Pass as an example. You got Bethesda. Why did they buy Bethesda for $7 billion if all they just needed was some Bethesda games? Oh, because they need an increase. Why would Perfect Dark need help from another studio? If you built this studio to make Perfect Dark, why do they need help 2-3 years later? The studio was built for this game. This is their first game. They don't have 20 projects. They were built to make Perfect Dark. So if they were built to make Perfect Dark, why do you need to phone a friend? What happened? You know what happened? Speed needs to happen. I need results faster because they don't have the patience. And Toolman says they don't have the management, the patience, the foresight, the leadership. They don't. They
Speed
don't
like the
have
drug?
it. What'd you say?
You said they are on speed like the drug?
No, not speed like the drug. They need speed to get
Oh,
this
they
out
need speed.
faster.
I was about
Like
to
the
say.
problem is they don't have any
Okay.
patience. So when you look at the not hitting the 37%, the 48%, the rate of growth, look at what they tried to do in February with the Game Pass, with the Xbox Live. Jack that up to $120 a year. Make that look excessive so people will be funneled in the Game Pass.
Look, we know Microsoft
These
is
are
really keen on backtracking. They are good for
Dude,
backtracking.
these are all moves to increase the movement to Game Pass because the rate of growth right now is not what Satya's number needs to be. And you know why? Is because they're not sharing the numbers of why. And if they come out and say 30 million at the end of this year, that's fine. Like, say that at 30 million at the end of this year. But my thing is why are you so... You were talking about it at every single one and don't talk about it, and you're not talking about it anymore. And then you're finding out that they didn't hit their numbers. They're not hitting their growth. And that's the thing. Optimus says, Harry Nips with $2. He goes, what happened to xCloud? Well, we're going to get into what xCloud has happened, like in the next few minutes when we get into xCloud. But what
You're
happened
my
to
number
xCloud?
one customer.
Remember Stadia, xCloud, Luna, the battle that was going to happen? What happened? What they did was they took xCloud and they bundled it with Game Pass, the one, the triple play package. So you can't even attest to the success of what xCloud is because they just bundled it together with Ultimate. So they could be like, we got 18 million
Game
Xbox
Pass,
Ultimate, and they got
Game
18
Pass is
million
bundled
xCloud.
with Game Pass is bundled with everything. When I went to go get my monitor, I think I showed you a picture. Went to go buy my computer monitor. I was like, yes, got my computer monitor. Guess what comes with it? 6 months of Game Pass. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I got a computer monitor and got 6 months of Game Pass. I don't want that. Why'd you give me that? Well, they're trying to promote you, And I didn't even buy my computer yet. I just got the monitor, and they're giving me Game Pass.
Dude, I'm
what they're
telling
trying
you,
to do,
it comes with everything. I got like 3 months that came with all my stuff. But it's interesting and then we talk about this growth of Game Pass and all these gets, and they did, like that video said, Gaming Bolt, like, hey, they got some big publishers in the Game Pass. They bought Bethesda. They made some big moves. So why is it flat with their services? Their services are 2%. It was basically flat. They are everywhere, all right? So I just want to say, it's Game Pass is everywhere. It is on every single console. It's on the consoles now. xCloud's on the consoles. You could sample games. Remember, that's why PS Now sucked, because you could stream. But now it's xCloud. I could stream to my console. Everybody's like, woohoo, I could test out before I try. It's like, oh, really? Now streaming on consoles is a cool thing to do. But that's why PS Now still sucks in their mind because of streaming. But xCloud was good. Just like Google Stadia's in the dumps, but xCloud is successful. My thing is that xCloud is still in its infancy. This thing is nowhere near prime time. That's why it's bundled. And this is what Microsoft does. They bundle their stuff together so that the highs pick up the lows. But you cannot measure how low is because it's bundled with the other thing. And if you look, Sony's services, and this is what they were saying, everybody with COVID and inside, everybody's things was up 4.7, almost 5%. Sony's services were up. Their hardware revenue. Microsoft is shipping 2 consoles. They have the lowest next-gen console on the market. Remember the excitement when the PS4 sold $100 less than the Series X, the Xbox One. Jesus, all the stupid-ass names. The Xbox One. Remember how big that $100 difference was? It basically won the generation for Sony, right? Like, it gave them a jump start because they sold the PS4 at $100 less than the Xbox. Come to now, Microsoft is selling a next-gen console with the Series S $100 less than the next-gen console. Where is the hoopla? Where is the celebration? Where is the movement? The 1S it's because it's a lesser powerful system. It's not as desirable. If they just made a diskless Series X and made that $100 less, maybe they would get some more leverage. But you look, Sony's hardware is huge. And just the revenue by itself. But again, Sony's thing's keeping the lights on. Microsoft, this is a side bitch. This is a side project for them. This is what this is. That's why, what is their patience? What is the patience for them? And if you look, this is Sony's numbers now. They just said that they confirmed real numbers. Look at the real numbers from Sony. You get a wall of text from Microsoft, but you get real numbers from Sony. Sony shipped 13 million. Sold through, I think they said sold through. 13 million. PlayStation Plus subscribers are 47, 104 monthly active users, 47 PlayStation Plus subscribers. Full game software downloads, digital ratio 62%. Full game software, first party titles, 76% in quarter two. 76%.
You're my number one customer.
Optimus, hairy nipples. The $5 he goes, I need the government to get involved and disband Xbox and give all the IP to the PlayStation so they can make them better. Facts. Facts. You want to know what, Optimus? That brings me on another little rant of how much IP Microsoft is sitting on and doing nothing with. Optimus hairy nips. You know, they got so much IP. People want them to buy more studios. People want them to buy Sega. Microsoft can't even handle the IP that they have. But they want them to buy more. For what? To kill it? Like Conker? To kill it? Like Banjo? They want to kill it? Is that why? Because that's where things go to die. The Microsoft graveyard. Because if you're not in their vision of cloud, you're dead to them. And if you don't grow to what Satya wants you to grow at, you're dead to them. There we go. Phil Spencer at the door trying to sell Game Pass. Get him, Grindhouse. Get him. So these are the numbers. You actually get numbers from Sony, right? Here you get Microsoft. Here they come. Paragraphs. Gaming revenue grew 16%. Xbox content and services grew 2%, relatively unchanged on a strong prior year. But look at this last sentence right here. With growth of Game Pass subscriptions, first-party titles, this is the standard line they put in there, offset by declines from third-party titles. What have we been showing with Capcom? Even Ubisoft. 75% of their games from Ubisoft, that was the other one that showed their financials, on PlayStation. Almost like 75% of their games are sold on the PlayStation platform. Like 30% or 40% are on Xbox. But look, declines from third-party titles. So the third party doesn't seem to be doing too hot over there. Very interesting. And of course, your hardware is going to grow because you have two brand new consoles that you didn't have last year. So that 166 is like, whatever. You didn't have a Series X and a Series S last year, and now you do. So you just added two new next-gen devices. Your hardware is going to be up. So that's kind of a negligible number there. But the fact that they got declines of third-party titles and growth in Game Pass subscriptions for $1, as you see from there, like, you got to think, like, where this transition's been going, and this has been going on for a while. This transition. The third party, like, Game Pass has been around for a few years now. If third party's not on board now, when are they going to jump on board? When's Capcom going to jump on board saying, Resident Evil 9, put it on Game Pass day one? GTA 6? EA, all their games day one? Yeah, sure, put them in there. Don't give me 10-hour trials like EA Play. Just put Madden in there and let it ride. No. Call of Duty, drop it in there. Far Cry, all the Ubisoft games. Where are they? Drop them. They're not on board now. When are they going to? And that brings us to the one last topic, which we're going to answer pretty quickly because this one dropped yesterday. Sega. Finally, here, Grinders. Hit that like button. We knew that Phil used to go on a plane. He used to eat a whole bunch of food on the plane, land in Japan, holding his ass, saying, I got to take a huge shit. And they would say, sir, the closest place we could take you is Sega headquarters. He goes, take me there. I got to take a dump of the gods. A dump larger than Mr. Booty himself. Phil walks into Sega headquarters, rips open that stall, and drops a friggin' deuce.
Bullshit.
Yes, it's true. Then, after Phil sprays his poopery, he walks out of Sega headquarters, and there are the die-hard fan-fest Xbox fans seeing him walking out of Sega. And they go, he is buying Sega. He's walked out of their headquarters. And then Phil gets back on the plane. He comes back to America. He puts out a tweet going, I just came back from Japan. And everybody's going, we saw him walking out. He's buying them. He has the relationship. Meanwhile, the relationship was only with the big dump that he had to take over there. But apparently, when he was there, he wiped his ass with a contract to have Sega use their Azure cloud. They have entered in a strategic partnership with Sega to establish a next-gen development environment. I got to hit the sirens here.
One of the things I
Phil.
I really love about being here is the families that are here. And we see parents with the family.
Phil.
One of the things I really love about being here is the families that are here.
He's a lovely man, lovely person. So they did this deal with Sega. The Twitter streets, oh my God, man, I have to turn that shit off. Sometimes it's nice, I tell this to Frogs, to just sit back and watch it all burn. This is a prelude for them to buying Sega. They are going to own Sonic. Oh my God. Listen. This is just another method. If you read, these words and you read them. If you read, this is just another way of Microsoft trying to make themselves relevant in the gaming environment without making a game for themselves. Record. This is just another method of Microsoft trying to put themselves relevant, to make themselves relevant in gaming without actually making a game themselves. This is them, as we talk to Mr. Tools in the chat, this is the tools. Apparently, they could shop around their tools, even though we're waiting for the tools on the Series X to show where ray tracing is. But apparently, they could sell their tools. So Sega, apparently $105 billion or $1.6 billion in debt. Phil Spencer goes around like the fucking Goodwill store, helping out everybody who's struggling. That seems to be his MO. Somebody said dumpster diving. That's what Phil does. You're a troubled studio? Listen to me. I'll help you. He's like that midnight. He's like the friggin', he reminds me of, man, Phil Spencer is Saul Goodman. Make me feel good. Feel good. Mr. Phil Goodman. That's his name. Hashtag, I'm typing this shit right now. Phil Goodman. Because that's what he is. I can't even type. What the fuck? I'm trying to type in my own friggin' chat. I'm typing this in here because we have a new hashtag for the Grinders. Hit that like button. We have his new name is Phil Goodman. That's his name. Phil Goodman. Make me feel good. That's what he is. He's a con. Don't let me say it. Don't let me say it. Let Arnold say it. I'm going to let Arnold say it.
You have me right. Con men, thieves, degenerates, lowlifes, thugs, criminals.
He is Mr. Phil Goodman. I'm going to save your studio. Let me buy your ass. The covers of Microsoft will keep you warm at night. I'll give you some s'mores. I'm Mr. Phil Goodman. He's a con man. He's basically walks in there. I'll take your case. Go watch Saul Goodman. Go watch that show because that's what Phil does to these studios. He walks in there and he's like, I'm going to make you feel good. Phil Goodman, here I come. Oh, you're going to quit? You're going to shut down this studio? Hold on. Here's a check. I'm Mr. Phil Goodman. I'll turn you around right now. With his friggin' rent-a-suit bullshit and living in a friggin' Winnebago outside of the goddamn place. Going around. He dumpster dives. I don't care. You can make a game. Whatever. We'll sign you. Get on over here, Mr. Phil Goodman. Sega's in trouble. Sega, can I sell you? He opens up his box of friggin' shaving. He opens up his box of friggin' what's his name? He opens up the box of shower rings. Shower curtain rings. Here you go. He's a shower ring salesman. Here we go. Look at this. You ever see John Candy in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Here he is. He's a friggin' shower ring salesman. Here we go. Shower. Here we go. I got a salesman. I got something for you. Sega. You're in trouble? You want to have a global game network? You want to be global games? Well, we got a thing for you. Better call Phil. Lorenzo. That's right. Better call Phil. We got a game. We got something for you. Wait a second. What? You want to be global? I hear you. I heard you guys. I was taking a shit in your stall. I heard you through the vents. You want to have what? Yep. Did I hear you? You want to have a global games?
Global games with glory holes, and remember, you're his number one customer.
Hi, buddy.
Dude, I got some stuff for you. I'm gonna fix you up, Sega. Sega, let me ask you a question. Grinders in the Grindhouse, Frogs and Link. Let me ask you a question. What big multiplayer game does Sega have? Let's start the list.
Big multiplayer game that Sega has. The only thing I can think that's big is probably Phantasy Star. That's probably it. This multiplayer. That's probably it. What else can I think of? Sega. Multiplayer Sega. I don't know.
You're right. That's it.
That's the only thing I can think
That's
of.
it. A Phantasy Star Online. What the hell does Sega have that is a multiplayer game, global ass? Like, what does it have? Are they known for big multiplayer games?
No.
There is one. And it's already on Xbox, remember?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There's only one. Sega got one goddamn game. You think that they're gonna go and they're gonna buy? Microsoft came out to they partner with our Azure cloud. You want to know what all you Azure ball washers and fantasy lovers, all you guys want to celebrate this? Azure the cloud is the best. Go boot up Outriders. Go look in the lower right-hand corner when Outriders boots. You tell me what's that powered by? What is it powered by? What's Outriders powered by? Tell me about it.
It's powered by the sweat of Phil Ness.
Oh, shit, you bet. What is it powered by? Is it powered by the Azure servers? Outright. Did I have a beautiful launch? Was that smooth as a baby's ass? Did it have any hiccups? They goddamn got servers in the friggin' 20 leagues under the sea. Phil Spencer in a fucking scuba outfit. Go planting servers outside of Atlantic Ocean. That's what I heard. They're the best. Did Outriders, did that launch to smooth as a baby's ass? There was no hiccups, right? There was no lost saves. There was no, like, you can't log in, right? Nah, none of that shit. Not with the Azure cloud. Optimus's hairy nips is back. Man, he loves rubbing those nips. He goes, I need Sega to give me Grandia 4 already. Oh, Grandia 4 already. Sega has a lot of shit to do.
You're my #1 customer.
Thank you, Optimus's hairy nips. Oh, my goodness. Changing those names. Wonderful. Love it. I saw somebody going like, oh, you know what? Make Alpha Protocol 2 with Obsidian. I'm gonna fall in my fucking chair. Do people know how to read? It says here, the Alliance would form a key part of Sega's mid to long-term strategy. Here we go again. Just keep waiting, just keep waiting, just keep waiting. Allowing the business to move forward with Super Game. Oh shit, here we go. We have Quadruple A. Now we got Super Game. Oh shit, here.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
I hope this is not true.
Now we got holy shit. Super Games now, Quadruple A. A new initiative for developing new and innovative titles where the key focuses are global, online, community, and IP utilization. That's what it says. To optimize the development process and continue to bring high-quality experiences to players using the Azure cloud. Now, Sega can effectively adapt to diversifying work styles and potential infrastructure changes. Now, on a serious note, a lot of this is kind of helping Sega become more remote, being more of a global company, and using Microsoft Teams, that's a cloud. Like, Teams is cloud, and using, maybe sending demos over the internet or streaming a demo to somebody for them to test it in another location, because the culture now is changing to be more remote and work from home. And Microsoft has the tools and the operating system to help a company move to this type of mobile environment. So do you understand the effects of contribution of Microsoft? Like, see, that's where none of this says Sonic is going to be running all over Phil Spencer's office next year. And the thing is that it really shows Microsoft owns Havoc. They own PlayFab. They own Simplagon. All engines to build games. They do all this stuff. They have a hand in everything. They got the tools. As Toolman just says. They got the tools. But Microsoft doesn't, and you see this with the booty conversation we had about the bootios. Hands off. You just make the game. We are just a security blanket. I'll make sure shit gets out of your way, and that's what they're going to do. This is what Microsoft wants. Microsoft wants a world like Steam, where they just sit back and let you make money using our stuff. I get a cut. They don't want to be working in research and development and all this other stuff. No, here are the tools. Go make something. But just remember who gave you the tools. Remember who lent you the hammer. Remember who gave you the sheetrock. So you build that house. When I come collecting, I'm going to say, this house is some of mine because I gave you the tools for it. That's how they work in enterprise. They don't create drugs. They don't create products. They give you the operating systems, the software to function as an artist, to function in a work environment. Windows is the glue to bring that environment together. That's where they excel. So in gaming, they're not going to say, make this game, do this game, entertain these customers. They're not going to do that. Instead, they're going to be like, hey, we could keep your lights on. We'll get you some more time. We'll fund this project. You just got to make sure it goes where we want it to go and releases how we want it to release, where we want it to release. Make sure there's touch controls for the cloud. I own you. I gave you the tools. So Sega, in this situation, they're just utilizing Microsoft's tool set to build a game. They're using the Azure infrastructure because they don't have one. They could choose Amazon. They chose Xbox. They chose Microsoft. But this doesn't mean that Xbox is going to get Sega games in Game Pass day one. Like, that's not what this deal is. Now, maybe they could do some negotiations like they did with the Yakuzas and stuff. But the reality of this, and oh my God, the people running with this right now. You talked about Sega and Microsoft for 2 friggin' years, and this is what it amounts to. Microsoft was supposedly buying Sega 2 years ago. Remember the blue controller and the yellow controller? And Aaron Greenberg going, we need a red controller for like the Sonic. Oh my God, they were buying them every year. And now a partnership is announced, and it's just them using the Azure tools for Sega. Again, not yielding any games. Frog, did you see this? Link, did you see this stuff? What did you think?
I honestly think that the partnership is like you said. It's just for server blades. It's not. Oh, we're gonna buy Sega. If I'm not mistaken, a Japanese company can only buy a Japanese company, and Sega's a Japanese
Yeah, I think
company.
there's some legalities to it or some stuff like that. But yeah,
yeah, there's some legalities. Like they can have a Japanese company, but what I'm saying is like. I don't think this is a deal like we're buying them. We got all their game. I don't think it's that kind of deal. I think it's more or less, hey, we need to use your infrastructure because at one point, if I'm not mistaken, also Sony went to them with the PlayStation. They want to use Azure servers. So I don't, what are they buying Sony and PlayStation out too? You see what I'm saying? So I think people are looking too much into it. I think it's just a partnership with the Azure Blades until we see something that's in concrete where they're like, hey, these games are coming only the Xbox or something. Maybe they do some games where they're only on in the cloud. Maybe that's what they do. But other than that, I don't think it's anything more than that.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
And like I said, I never say never and stuff like that. And this, like he said, a final thing is the whole, the PlayStation PC. And again, we talked about this at nauseum with this PlayStation PC, like with this PlayStation games. Every frigging game that goes to PC, it's like it comes up as another conversation. Like this Sony's doing it. You get the same people going. All games day and date. You get some people going, oh, we're gonna lose the IP, or it's not exclusive anymore. And listen, this Sony PC thing, I've said it again so many times that Sony is venturing into a world where they're going to put their toe in the water for every little thing. And honestly, I say never, but I don't believe that this PlayStation PC stuff that Sony would say, hey, Horizon Forbidden West will be on PC, Steam day one, and on PlayStation day one. Maybe there's some multiplayer game that they would do it, but I just don't.
Yeah. I don't think you see that for quite some time. Listening there, seeing the sales diminish in the console to a point where they're like, hey, we got to put it everywhere day one. The sales aren't. That's why Microsoft had to put their stuff where they had to do it because they saw diminishing sales. Sony's brand is so big. PlayStation's brand is so big. I don't think you're going to see day and date until you see some stuff diminishing. Now, I do think you will see certain titles go day and date, but they're huge IPs. No, they're big IPs. No, I think you'll see something like a game that they had somebody develop, like the Predator, on PlayStation and PC, and this is exclusive. So I don't think you see like the Uncharted, the God of Wars, the Spider-Mans, the Gran Turismos that is on their console and PC day and date. I think the brand is too strong, and Sony knows, hey, we can easily put it here, and a year to maybe a year and a half, 2 years later. Because I think right now, the mark seems like 2 years later they put them on PC. A year to 2 years later. Now,
Yeah.
like you said, never say never, because who would ever thought Sega to leave, the industry like it did and become
Yeah.
third party? But I think that eventually, so what Sony does, unless they see diminishing numbers and sales, you can see those games come there between a year, to, depending on the title, to 2 years. If it's a big title and it's selling well, once they reach a certain component of sales, they're like, man, we can't sell anymore. Even though we got a user base of, let's just say, 100 million, man, we've already sold 35 million, and we're not selling any more copies of this game. Let's put it on PC. That's what I see. Like God of War is at the tipping point. Uncharted 4 is you gotta look at these numbers of how many copies of Uncharted 4 they've
76%
sold.
said it came from their first party sales in Q2. 76% for their first party.
Right. So and the difference is, when you look at a game like a Gears of War or a game like, the Forges, like they sell okay. Well, Gears of War, it's like every Gears of War got worse in sales. So they were like, man, we are not seeing the sales like we used to from the 360 era. So I think Microsoft, unfortunately, I think they had to go that route because they didn't have the development talent. Sony's different. Sony and Nintendo can make a game, it'll come out and it'll sell, 5+ whatever million. And they're like, okay, well, we've sold what we know we can sell. We're not getting any more sales month to month. Okay, this game is a year game. This game is 2 years. This game is a year game. This game is 2 years. And like I said, the games that they have, they're like, okay, here's a game. Like for instance, Forspoken. I think that deal with Square. So that could be a game that they say comes day and date because it's not something they necessarily it's one of their studios. I think their studio games, no dang date for now. Third party games, possibly.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like, and like I said before, like they are doing the waterfall approach where they're hitting it at each one. Like even the Returnal update that they added the photo mode and they added the things to it. Like that is a way to prep this game to be maybe more, for a sale and be more accessible now that it has a save state. And it also, which you could now, apparently you could manipulate it to kind of save, like it give you another life, another save. There's a hack for that. But apparently, by adding photo mode and adding, this save state here, it addresses some of the concerns, but also it's preparing it for probably a lower price point because the hardcore bought it, or the early adopters bought it at the $70, and now you drop it 50, drop it at 40, and put it on sale. Might win Game of the Year, already has, and it's going to get more attention. You might have a second wave of sales. Have it now at a lower price point. I have a couple of new modes in it, a photo mode, and maybe some ability to save some of the complaints that people have, and now you prep it for a different price point, and then you take it down. Maybe next year, maybe next spring, you put it in PlayStation Plus. You put it in PlayStation Now. You sell this game, and that's the thing. You keep marketing just like a movie theater. You keep hitting it at each level. Look at all the. Remember, everybody was going crazy last year, going, look, day and date on a streaming service. We did it. It says, and look what happened. Everybody's going back to the theater, right? There's all the movies now in theaters now, and so like basically everybody's going back to the way it was. Like if this was such a financially incredible thing to be in a streaming service and a service day one or everywhere on day one, more people to watch the movie in my streaming service than going to a theater, then don't you think that would be continuing now? No. You go into the theater to go watch this. Disney quickly pivoted all their movies right back to the theater. Why? Because that's where they make the big money on their big budget movies. And then we'll tail her back and we'll put it to the streaming service later. Same thing. PC, Sony is making sure that they're hitting each of their price points. And then guess what? You put it on PC for $50. You think right now that they could put God of War on the PlayStation Store for $50? You think it's going to sell? I put God of War right now. God of War 2018, $49.99 PlayStation Store. You think it?
Yeah.
You think the PlayStation people buying it? You think anybody's buying it at that price?
And I think, and then I think here's the other thing. You said it, and you hit it right in freaking our head. Is I do think it sells on PlayStation, and then they put it on maybe PC, and then they also say, okay, well, for those who didn't play it here, it's been 2 years. It's in PlayStation Plus, because they want to keep that subscription base there too. So it makes sense to put some of those games in PlayStation Plus, and then some of those games, the games you put on PC, put in PlayStation Plus. So I think that what you get day and date is it's on PC, but it's also on PlayStation Plus that month. I think that
too.
makes sense.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I think that makes sense because then those people who don't have Plus, maybe they have a thought to invest in it. But because right now $60 a year is pretty good. But what I'll say is I don't have a problem with these games going to Plus because they're great quality games. Sony doesn't necessarily have to do this, but what I think they do is they expand the market. They give you that God of War. The next God of War Ragnarok comes out next year, and you're sitting there like, damn, that first one was really good. Do I buy a PlayStation 5 or do I just wait
do that
2
too?
years?
People say that's not true, but I do think that
I think
might.
I don't think you don't get a large group of people who come over from PC and buy a PS5, but you may get some of them.
You may. And Uma and Josh Ayers, Uma says something interesting here where he goes, Final Fantasy VII Remake still not on PC. And that's a point that I want to make too, is that the difference between Microsoft and Sony is that Sony is dipping their toes. They don't know which way you're coming and going. People say, "Oh, well, Microsoft just peeled off the Band-Aid fast." I mean, no. Microsoft committed shit that they didn't even announce yet. Microsoft committed all their first party when you didn't even know what that first party was making. That's how desperate and how hit the sirens that whole venture to PC was. You had to upgrade to Windows 10. You had to get this. Remember, then after that didn't work out, they put it on Steam because nobody was going to Windows 10. Microsoft is desperate. And then they even put they put Windows 10 games or PC games, just like Age of Empires that just came out, only on PC. Sony's not doing that. And on top of it, Sony has deals like Horizon. They got Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy 16, Forspoken. They got games where they're coming out with new versions of games or getting exclusives, not on any other console. So they're still establishing that the core person, the console player, is being satisfied. That's the point.
Yeah, and I would say don't be surprised to see Spider-Man on PC when Spider-Man 2 drops.
Probably.
Because like it's a good tactic to say, damn, Spider-Man 2 dropped. Here's Spider-Man on PC, and oh, by the way, Wolverine's coming out at the end of this year. And it's like, holy shit, do I get a PlayStation 5 to play that Spider-Man and 2 and Wolverine? Or do I just play the Spider-Man? No, you may get some people that say, look, I can, because by that time, it's like, man, I can spend $3.99 and $4.99, $3.99 studying this in the store. I just go buy a console for $3.99. I'll play these games. I got that one on PC, but I'll play these other ones here. And hey, the ones that didn't come to PC yet, I'll pick those onesies and twosies up. And I think Sony's PlayStation has a big enough library of exclusive games that aren't on PC, that if you pick it up, it benefits you because you're going to have such a big library of games that you can't play anywhere else but that console. So in the long run, it may grab some people's attention to buy a console, but even if it doesn't, they still make a little bit of money on the back end. They've saturated as much as they can with that. Like for instance, like with Uncharted 4, that nobody else is buying that game. The only thing they can do is give it away.
Well, it's because of the movie, Frog. That's why they're doing it.
Right.
The movie,
and that's smart. And that's smart. That's super smart. It's like, hey, we saturated the market, put it on PC now, and get people to go into the movie theaters and see this movie. I don't think it hurts I don't think it hurts their bottom line of console sales because they have such a big user install base. You're not going to find a lot of people who are jumping from the console over to PC or vice versa. You may have a couple people go to PC, but I don't think that unless it is a day and date thing, I don't think you'll see people jumping from a console to a PC. Like, I'm buying everything on PC now.
Plus, they don't make it as easy. Xbox made it like Xbox basically took the Xbox heartbeat and put it on PC, your
Mhm.
friends list, your everything, and then they put their multiplayer games on PC where you didn't have to pay for Xbox Live, and you're paying and you're playing against your
Right.
friends who are paying for Xbox Live. Like
And most
Microsoft
people-
did a lot of they did a lot of kind of making it easy. Sony's not like giving like, well, hey, you could play with all your your friends on PSN while they're paying for it. Like, you know what I mean? They're not. Or you bring your friends list and chat with them and do invites and all this. You can't do that on PC. They have yet to do
and I
that.
was gonna say the other thing I've realized, and maybe I might be wrong. It seems like a lot of people in the console PC market space, like the people who are on PC, but they talk to console people and they deal with the gaming space. They used to be Xbox players anyway.
Yep.
So
And
I think that makes sense for them to be on PC because it's like everything's their day and date. And I think they kind of want Sony to be like, oh, we want your games too,
well,
being day and date.
I was thinking about that when you were away, and I saw a lot of people doing that. And I know you say like a lot of these newfound PC, I'm building a PC dudes are former Xbox console owners.
Former Xbox guys.
And I find that when they see some of these PlayStation games going to PC, it's funny because I think that it's almost like their DNA of being an Xbox. They're like, kind of, I'm getting PlayStation games on my platform. And it's sort of like almost like if Xbox was going to get like a God of War on Xbox, like it's sort of like we got your games. And that's where I think a lot of this teasing and this kind of joking comes around, is that because they are former Xbox people on PC, and they're not just PC dudes that really only play Age of M or play like friggin' Dota and shit. They don't care about this stuff, but it's the console guys that moved over to PC that are kind of like, oh, now I has your games too. And they kind of like go, and I'm going to get all your games, the whole slate. And it's just like, and my thing is that
they're there for, they are on PC for fidelity, not because PC has better games than the console. They're just there for better fidelity. That's the main reason they're on PC. It's not because, oh, the PC has so many more amazing games than this console has. Because a lot of the games, you know, I read a lot of the articles and stuff. Like,
wait, Frog. Buck Rogers says a lot of Xbox refugees ended up on PC.
I was reading numbers, and you know it's funny. They said less than 2% of the PC market played 4K. Less than 2%.
Yeah,
2%. That's a very small percentage of people who game on PC that play at 4K. They say, and I said that's crazy. They say, you know, most people on PC are still playing at 1080p. I was like, yo, why? And it's because a lot of the people we know with the 3090s and the 3070, whatever their card, most PC gamers are not even looking for that. They're just looking to say, you know what, I can play at 1080p, maxed out 240 hertz or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
That's all they care about.
Yeah.
They don't care about, you know, 4K 120 or 4K 60 ray tracing. Now, most of the people who talk about all that stuff, they're in a very, very small community of people who play on PC. And when you hear somebody talking about they got a 3090 and it can outpower your PS5, well, you're in a very small portion of the market. Most people who have these consoles, you know, if you look at it, their consoles are going to outperform most people on PC. And the thing is, you have a very small majority of people who play on PC at that 4K or even dynamic resolution. 1080p is the market.
Yeah, especially with the cost of the cards too. Like people are just kind of getting by with what they can get or what they get in pre-built PCs, like the astronomical cost of cards.
I don't think there's anything wrong with playing on PC, right?
Nah.
But what I do think you kind of lose, especially if you're coming from console to PCs, especially if I'm coming from Nintendo or PlayStation, is I do lose some of the franchises that I would get only on PlayStation day one, and I know I wouldn't wait for that crap. I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Frog. Like, really, if God of War 3 comes out and they're like, hey, or like they're like God of War Ragnarok comes out, and you're just like, oh, well, I'm just gonna wait for it on PC. Like, wait 2 years, and I'm gonna be playing Among Us for the next 2 years.
I'm gonna wait
while I play for like. My thing is that if you really care about the game, you're going to get it as soon as possible. Hell, they make you buy game. You pay more money to get a game 3 days earlier. So if you tell me waiting for a game is okay for a gamer, then go tell me how that they sell $100 Forza Horizon 5 edition that lets you play 3 days earlier. and people willing to
Right.
spend that money. Same thing with Call of Duty. Same thing with Battlefield. $100 version of Battlefield. Well, the only difference is you get to play it 4 days later. Oh, shit, there he is. Phil trying to sell you, man. He's like, you sure you said no before? But let me tell you, let me throw in something else, Frogs. Get those Grindhounds. Grindhounds get Phil. He's trying to sweeten the deal for more Game Pass subs. It's the holiday season.
He's trying to throw in a Game Pass with the controller. That's what it is.
Oh, shit, Frog. Don't let him sucker you in with those controllers. Don't let him sucker. Is he throwing in an Elite, or is he throwing in like one of those like sneaker white? Is it a sneaker white or is it an Elite 2?
Like an exclusive one from Minecraft.
Oh, shit. He's throwing in a Minecraft control with 2 months of Game Pass? Dude, the Grindhounds. Let him bite his ankles. Bite his ankles. No deal. No, I used to have the Arnold. No deal. I used to have it. Oh.
This is not worth it.
There we go. But, you know, the final thing about this whole PC and PlayStation stuff. The dogs in the chat, Sergeant. Oh man, I love when the dogs go crazy. They put the dogs in the chat. It's hilarious. But like, yeah, again, like PC gaming is great. It is definitely the most accessible, and you have so much like stuff to play. But this whole PlayStation thing and them being serious about PC, I think it's a way for them to bring their franchises to more people and to charge the price that they want to charge at $49.99 for the games that have sold and done their job on the console. Horizon Forbidden West will do its work. It will sell PS5s. It would move them. It's going to show the capabilities of that machine. And that's one of the other things that I spoke about, and a lot of people have. I know Chris Wright, just shout out to him, has spoke about this as well, is the biggest problem that you have with this day and date that everybody comes running around every time Sony puts a game on PC, even though it's 2-3 years out, day and date's going to happen. Well, if it does, I hope it doesn't compromise the games like it's doing to Microsoft, because Microsoft's not a great example of what a venture of day one PC console games, one family now, pass me the friggin' chocolate and marshmallows world that Phil Spencer sells you. Phil Goodman, with that Phil and S, cream on the face, that old bullshit, what they're doing to Halo and why things are not ready at launch, save states. We can't fail save states across all these devices, and how is it optimized for PC? Is it optimized for this? And it's so much work for us. Like, that's not a great selling piece to saying, oh, this is something we want Sony to do. Because if Sony starts compromising its quality to be on more devices like Microsoft has, then we got a problem. Then we're grinding some gears. But if Sony's able to maintain quality at the console level, and then a couple years later have somebody else, because remember, God of War's getting ported by somebody else. It's not no Sony studios. They got some bootleg studios run by Bootleg Joel on the side. Hey, yeah, go make that God of War version and put that $49.99 price on it. There you go. We'll sell you dev. What are you? They're the D team. D team, get over there from Studio Phil Ness over there, and you go make the PC port. Santa Monica, you don't touch that shit. Go let the D team over there at Bootleg Joel Studios go make that game for us. Let them put on. Make sure you put that $49.99 price on there. Don't worry about it. There you go. Good job, Bootleg Joel Studios. Go make that port for P. There you go. There you go. And that's what they're doing. Low cost, high price. $49.99 costs us $10 to make from Bootleg Joel Studios. Here you go, PC Master Race. Go run your friggin' your benchmarks. And that's what they'll do. They'll boot up God of War. They'll run their benchmark. They'll tweet it out, rub their nipples. Optimus Harry Mips, shout out to him. They'll rub their nipples. They'll go on Twitter going, my 3080 is oozing machismo. It ran this at 4K, 120. Oh my goodness. Rub my nipples, and then they'll go back to playing Among Us. That's the life of a PC gamer. Or they'll go to Dota. Because all they want to do is flex their hardware. They will use God of War to run their friggin' benchmarks. Oh, that $5,000 I spent on that 3090. I could play God of War at 4K 120 if I want, but I'm going back to Among Us. How's that Dota doing? Okay, we're gonna go raid in some Dota.
Or CS:GO.
Or CS:GO. We're gonna do some CS:GO raids tonight. But I'm gonna let you know, Twitter, if I really want to, I could run God of War at 4K 90 with my RGB lighting, my liquid cooling, my donut making PC master race computer. I can do it if I want. But I'm going back to High Tie Simulator, as Umar says. There you go. But they ran the benchmark. So they'll pay $50. They'll run their benchmark going, I could play this at 4K 120 if I want. Back to Dota. But maybe some guys will play it. Maybe some people will play it and they'll want to play the next one. But let me tell you, it's about flexing. It's about flexing your rig. All right? It's like the dudes that have these cars that have all this the muscle and the thing, and all they do is take it to the shows, but they won't drive it around. Hell, I got to go to the supermarket. You're not taking that car. But it's the only car I have right now. No, take an Uber. That car's only for the shows. That's what PC's like, man. You flex your hardware. You put up your little counters in the corner. You share it out. And there you go. Flexing. That's the game. You're a tweaker. That's what you do. You tweak. Oh, I'm going to turn down the tessellation. And all. That's what happens. I see we have some PC fans in there. Sorry for the dislike, but dude, it happens. Sorry, I upset the PC dude. But this is the Grindhouse. We piss off everybody. But yeah, like that's the thing. Like honestly, Sony's gonna put their games on PC, open it up to another market, charge more money. And that's the way they're going to go. Now, maybe they'll do a day and date. Maybe they won't. Never say never. But it is not what Xbox is doing. Phil Spencer opened up the floodgates of Phil Ness to just make Xbox PC in this world, and they don't realize that they are different gamers. Now, here you go. Maybe I'll earn that dislike away. Maybe that dislike will go away because you're going to hear me out here, PC gamer. I'm going to earn you. Give me that. Turn that frown upside down. All right, PC gamer, whoever disliked it. Let me tell you right now. I'm talking you right to you. This dislike right here. I'm talking right to you. I'm looking right at you. Right there. You're special. You have needs. You have wants. You have desires. You spent a lot of money on your rig. I'm looking right at you, you dislike. Right there. I'm looking right at you. Right at you. You're not the same gamer as a console gamer. A console gamer, they don't have the same needs that you want. Dislike. They don't have the same needs that you want. You want widescreen support. You want high frame rate. You want optimization for the money that you spent on your PC. Dislike right there. I'm talking to you, to dislike right there. You want that. Don't you think you deserve the best? Your master race, your PC. You deserve the best. You don't deserve the same game that's made for the Series Booster coming to your platform. I'm looking right at you, a dislike button right there. Turn that frown upside down. You deserve the Sony treatment, where they actually take the time and make sure the game meets your needs. Because you are a different gamer than a console gamer. You have different needs. That's why the Sony's approach to PC gaming is ensuring that you are receiving the edition that you deserve. Not Bootleg Phil edition, where he's going to just say what's good for the goose is good for the gander because you on PC is the same dude that's playing on console. I'm looking at you, dislike. I'm looking at you. Turn that frown upside down. Turn that into a like. You're special. You deserve. You are a different gamer than the console gamer. So you should get a different edition than the console gamer says. But Phil says you're the same person. Phil Ness runs around and says you are the same person as the dude playing on Booster. You're not. There's different. And they're trying to accommodate everybody. And they got 2 dislikes.
He got 2! He got 2!
Well, that backfired. That didn't work. Anyway, now I got 2 dislikes. 2 PC gamers that dislike. But anyway, turn that frown upside down. But seriously, the thing is that it went... he got 2. I got 2.
He got 2! He got 2!
That's fucking YouTube. Who gives a shit? But anyway, what I'm saying is, oh, look at this 3 dislikes. There we go. Now they're really rolling in the PC dudes now. But like, honestly, the thing is that when you have, Phil believes that they're the same person, right? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Hey, if I slap touch controls on Halo, it's good for the people that play on the phone, right? Exactly. Like, hey, where is it?
I'm trying to use the phone!
I'll slap on some controllers and we'll be fine with the same thing. You're not. The mobile gamer, the PC gamer, and the console gamer are 3 different demographics. They're 3 different groups. And the point is that the game should be made for each of those groups. You should not just take one game and slap it across all the other ones. And that's what Xbox is trying to do. They're trying to be lazy. Now, what they do sometimes is they say we're building this game for PC in mind and all of those stuff, but then they just piss off their console guys. But see, what Sony's doing is that they're addressing their console first. Man, the likes and dislikes going all over this. Hey, guys, while we're all slapping around the dislikes and like button, let's try to get to 100 likes before we shut this down. Let's do it, grinders. Let's get to 100 likes before we shut this down. We've been going midnight oil. I owed you some time because I came on late. I'm giving you that extra time. Let's get those extra likes up there to 100, please. So, yeah, like the thing is that now they can make sure that God of War and Horizon work. Now, I heard that they weren't optimized that great at first, Horizon, but it got better. But at least they could address the needs of the PC gamer because they are a different audience. They have different expectations. And when you focus development on those different levels, you don't compromise quality because now your development is focused on the platform that's shipping on. However, what we're seeing with Xbox is that they're trying to focus on so many platforms between all the variations of consoles, all the variations of PCs, mobile phones, xClouds, or touch controls. They're spread too thin. And that's the issue. That they're trying to say that that's the same, where they're able to satisfy everybody. And they're not. You know, what is it? Jack of all trades, master of none. You're trying to appease this broad audience that have different expectations with the same game. And it doesn't work all the time. There's some games that it might work. Some games it doesn't. Most games it doesn't. Don't just slap touchscreen controls on Halo Infinite going, it's a mobile game now. Mobile guys, check it out. It's lazy. It's cheapening gaming. It sounds good. This kumbaya, everybody should play our games. But you got to know your audience. You got to know what you're doing. And I think with Sony, we're just dipping their foot in some service games. Here's the bangers that the console players expect. Now we're going to take that banger. We're going to turn that into into a movie. We're going to put this on PC. We're going to do this. Like, you have your foot in the pot everywhere. And I said this, and this is the last line on this before we shut it down. We're almost at 100 likes. That's awesome. Thank you so much, guys and girls. Grinders and grindettes. But yeah, one of the other things, too, is that you're able, when you now I forget my train of thought because I was looking at the thing. But when you're able to do that, and this is what I was gonna say. My last point is that if Sony is putting their games on PC, these games that we're playing, Game of the Years and all this other stuff, let me tell you something. Come close to the speaker. I'm not gonna yell. I won't yell. But I'm gonna tell you a little secret, right? Well, if Sony decides to flip the switch and start going streaming with the games that they have, or they want to put the games that they have on PC, Let me tell you something, a little something. If you come close to the speaker, I'm going to tell you right now. Right, here it comes. Xbox still loses. Okay? I'll say it for those in the back. If Sony and Nintendo decide to do what Microsoft is doing to the T, let me tell you something. Xbox still loses. You got that, right? So there's no celebration in the streets if Sony just comes out tomorrow going, day and date PC, oh, here's our games. If Sony can sustain the quality that they've managed, Xbox still loses. Because they've been spending years building IP, building amazing games, both of them, that they have the library that when they flip the switch and go, guess what? People are going to subscribe to play our games because our games are the best. We've built a library of games. Let's go. Xbox is still sitting there waiting for games. They got to stare at the starting point. They're at the starting point. They haven't even started the run yet. Sony's already coming around for lap 3. Microsoft still have to prove themselves with all these studios that they purchased. Microsoft still has a story to tell to determine whether this is going to be successful or not. They haven't been spending the last 4 years making amazing games that have built this library, this legacy that people are going to want to subscribe to 5 years from now. No, in 5 years, maybe we'll get the games that will start this legacy. Whereas Sony and Nintendo have been building these games. We're on Horizon 2. We're on God of War Ragnarok. We're on Spider-Man 2 after Miles Morales. You're on, who knows what, Ghost of Tsushima. Who knows what, then you got Wolverine after that. They already built their legacy. They have Last of Us 2. Last of Us 1. A litany of games that they've built over the last generation that will carry them. So when they decide to go streaming, when they decide to go day and date on PC, it's over. Because Microsoft's still going to be standing there with their pants down, Mr. Booty shaking outside the windows, hands off booty, trying to get their games out the door. And telling us that it's going to be 4 years, 10 years before they're feature complete. 10-year game. Nobody's going to wait. Because while you are jerking around with that stuff, trying to make a name for yourself, the other competition's making deals, shipping games and sequels to games before you can even get your shit together. So, if Sony decides to go, let them. If they can ensure the quality, that's great. But I'm telling you right now, Xbox still loses. So be careful what you ask for. Because I think there's some people out there that think if Sony just puts their games on PC day and date, Xbox wins by some default. No, you lose. It doesn't make your games any better. It doesn't make Xbox any better. It doesn't make Xbox more relevant. Actually, it makes Xbox less relevant. And like I said before, they are on borrowed time. Check out my last video with that. Xbox is on borrowed time. They think they had the free loading. Oh, we're on Steam now. Woohoo! Here comes PlayStation. Oh, yeah? Here comes God of War. Here comes Uncharted. Now let's see how good Sea of Thieves does, bitch. Now there's some real games, bitch. You think you get out there with Grounded on Steam? Rubbing your nipples? Yeah. Here comes God of War. Here comes Uncharted. Here comes Horizon. Here comes Death Stranding. Here's some real friggin' games, bitch. Now tell me how Grounded's doing. Now tell me how Bleeding Ass is doing. Shit, now those games look like trash. The trash that it was. So this is what I mean. Sony putting their high-quality games on PC doesn't make Xbox look any better. It just exposes a new audience to the dichotomy of quality between the two brands. So be careful what you ask for, because you guys should be focusing on quality games and buying those games and playing those games and giving the feedback when those games don't meet your expectations. That's what you should be focusing on. Don't focus on what Sony's doing, because if Sony does what they're doing, it doesn't make them any better. And that's my point. And that's been the Gaming Grindhouse, episode 42. Epic show. Stayed late. Thank you so much, Frogs and Link, for hanging in there. I think Link fell asleep. But Link, I'm in your dreams. Thank you. In your dreams.
In Link's dreams.
Frog, welcome back, man. Oh, shit, Link's a Link. He woke up. He heard me whispering in his dreams. Yo, but thank you guys again. Link, follow him over on the Twitter. Over at Link. Link, give your Twitter handle, follow that. And Frogs, tell them where they can get you. And we are headed out there with this late rant. It's a late night.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
You can catch me on Twitter at Frogs Dreams.
All right, and Link.
Link went to sleep.
There you go. He was talking nothing. 3 more likes. We got 100 guys. I want to thank you again. 1 more likes. We still have the 2 PC dudes. Sorry I couldn't turn your frowns upside down, but hey, guys, it is what it is. Stay gaming on PC. I play a game on PC. Maybe I'll see you there. And everybody, hit that like button. Join the Grindhouse. Hit that subscribe button. If you want to be a VIP grinder and have access to all these cool new boosters and turbo times and donuts, and I'll be putting more in there as we get more VIP grinders, join the VIP grinder. Hit that join button. And I want to thank everybody. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for supporting the channel. And for hanging out in the Grindhouse with the chat. Just the chat, too. Awesome. Buck Rogers, everybody. Nassim, Sergeant, Umar, Josh, thank you. Game Night, everybody. Rock Captain Crunch. We got Impatient Fire. What's up with the dogs? But Twisted Sink, yo, he's there, man. Toolman in there. I want to thank everybody for showing up. And it's been a great show. And hope everybody had a good Halloween, and yeah, keep it gaming, and we will be probably doing some other stuff later on this week, but maybe stream something. Let me know if you're a VIP grinder, or if you want to just shoot me up, but shoot any suggestions, anything you want to see stream. We hit the 100, woohoo! 100 likes. Thank you so much, everybody. And yeah, if there's anything you want me to stream specifically, we getting Call of Duty this week, and again, I said Beat Day's gone, and I'm gonna try to be finishing up Kenna and stuff. But thank you again, everybody. Share out the video. Hit that like button. 101 likes. Thank you so much, guys. You're awesome. And Grinders, thank you again, man. Make this awesome. And yeah, we're coming into shooter season now. Woohoo! It'll be interesting in the next couple of weeks. So keep it locked here. There might be some more shows coming in. Grinds My Gears and What Ifs. Oh, baby. Here we go. Bring the home stretch. It's season time. Booster. Thank you, guys. Talk to you guys later. I am out. We